When they bring it down, then drop it to the women. The women will sell it here. That is the condition of the fish. The woman is not traveling, but those men will travel and bring it down here and give it to the women. Then the women will sell and take their little commission.
Ironically, it is not the big fish merchants or importers that pay heavy tax. Rather, the women retailers with small profits that face the big problem of multiple taxation and illegal levies, a problem that has cost millions of women working in Nigeria's informal sector sleepless nights.
Some give receipts, some don't give receipts. And they must pay. If you don't get they beat you off. If you don't pay, they kick you very well. Before they arrive to you, you bring the money out. You don't need to ask about receipts. Just to stay quiet and pay your money. And then thank you, sir.
It is 6:30 a.m. in this part of Ose Market. These women are returning from bush farms to which they must set out as early as 4 a.m. if they intend to find fresh vegetables to buy. Some must carry their babies along in the effort to cross the poverty line. No load is too heavy to carry. No item too petty to trade in, so long as the proceed can help to feed, if only one little mouth. Because most people here rely on daily sales before they can feed, they must not be deterred by the rain. In their kind of business, it is swim or sink. The rain may not come every day. Buyers may not come every day. But there are men who never fail to come every day. Tax and levy collectors. They are foot soldiers masquerading as agents of government. They go about terrorizing petty traders and small business owners. Women are the most vulnerable. From sunrise to sunset, tax and levy collectors in their numbers pay unannounced visit to these market women. They could make over a dozen appearances in one day. Each time they turn up, they expect cash to be ready. This they can choose to collect in a nice way, sometimes in nasty ways.
There are about 5 groups. Over the Nana 50, over Nana 20, over Nana 100 naira. Na mero da. I got force. You can't believe it. Mama, they put it. I get believe in it. Maybe send that. Maybe see the guy. See on any him after the house. I will keep back it up. Believe and believe up. I would have photograph if I got never maybe.
The taxes and levies are never receipted. The huge collections, billions of naira, go into private pockets. They demand such levies as marching ground, which every trader must pay in the morning before they can display their wares, security levy, development levy, chairman's breakfast levy, sanitation levy, even when they have no business with refuse collection, and Ompa levy, another name for money for beer. The list is endless. A trader may end up paying more than 8 different levies in one day. Any resistance from the market women results in seizure of wares. Even hairdressers must pay money if they must do their work without headache. In addition to all these, the trader must pay rents and official multiple taxes to the state, local government council, and the market leadership. Aba, the commercial capital of Abia State, has 16 markets. The Ariaria International Market is the largest. It is divided into 85 zones, with each zone subdivided into lines. Ariaria is the biggest cash cow for the state and the Aba South local government. It is even more so for the legion of levy collectors and their collaborators in government. Billions of naira are collected every year in taxes and levies, However, the taxpayers have nothing to show for the huge taxes they pay. Like the entire Aba city, Ariaria is in a state of decay. It has neither amenities nor good infrastructure. The roads leading into the market and those within are in a sorry state. Drainages are clogged with refuse. Whenever it rains, flood water takes over shops, destroying wares. Traders and buyers alike must wade through dirty waters and fields. Everyone must watch out for snakes, just as everyone must be armed with rain boots. To earn a living, these taxpayers must dare cholera epidemic as they sit overwhelmed by stench from 7:30 a.m. to 5:30 p.m. every day. Aside paying 300,000 naira to get a shop, traders also pay their income tax. In addition, they must pay 3,600 naira a year for what is called market tax, sanitation levy of 1,200 naira a year, environmental levy of 1,600 naira a year, refuse levy of 1,000 naira every 6 months, infrastructure levy of 2,000 naira, development levy 3,600, and 2 different security levies of 1,500 naira and 800 naira respectively. For any default, the levy is doubled and the trader's shop sealed by a market tax force. About 1 million people, including traders, transporters, laborers, dressmakers, suit designers, and shoemakers, do business in Ariaria. In the past, business people from neighboring Akwa Ibom, Imo, and River states, and from Cameroon, Niger, and Gabon thronged the market. Today, they avoid Ariaria like a plague. This bank is long closed down, its building abandoned. Same for this school that used to have over 120 pupils. Those still doing business in Ariaria or merely passing by do so while cursing under their breath. Unwilling to be identified, this former trader fled Ariaria after harassments from levy collectors almost cost him his life. He talks about the mafia-like structure of the Ariaria Market Union, whose executives are unofficially appointed by the state government.
Being the chairman of IMATA, I mean Ariaria International Market Traders Association, and the chairman, everybody will want to smell that seat even if it's for a week, because the amount of money that you will make out, they are building very good houses, living very good lives and spending so much. Anybody can just come into that line, into that seat, and will want to remain there. If by any means you become disobedient in one way or the other to the administration that appointed you there, you are removed.
The tax regime in Ariaria is replicated in the 15 other markets. Traders and residents pay about 22 taxes and levies, yet Aba, also called Enyimba City, is fast turning into a big junkyard. Hygiene is not a big deal in this city. Residents live next door to epidemics. Human dignity means nothing anymore here. The United Nations Environmental Program, UNED, recommends that, quote, the overall human settlement objective is to improve the social, economic, and environmental quality of human settlement and the living and working environments of all people, particularly the urban and rural poor. Taxpayers in Aba have complained and cried themselves hoarse. Nobody seems to be listening. Each new day brings a new irony. With no pipe-borne water provided by government, most homes and business premises must sink their own boreholes. Ironically, they must pay what is called borehole levy. The Mossack Fonseca tax haven scandal, better known as leaked Panama Papers, exposed worldwide how the rich hide under their assets in offshore territories to avoid paying tax in their home countries. Nigerian investigative journalist Emmanuel Mayer obtained access to over 11 million of the leaked documents. His numerous reports detailed the layers of secrecy employed by the rich in Nigeria to perpetrate tax injustice and widen the inequality gap. But while some of the rich pay little or no tax, small businesses and poor citizens of Nigeria are weighed down by multiple taxation. 35-year-old widow Onyinyechi Obi fled the Boko Haram insurgency in the north of Nigeria. Now trying to pick up the pieces of her life in Onitsha, she faces a new type of fear and tyranny. She too must share a meager earning with a horde of tax and levy collectors.
I was 5 years ago. I don't easy. I don't fair cha. Don't fair. No, I reason the madam. Canny Maya. Habia Maya. Lele Chanquo. I can say messenger. We're not supposed to school. We're not go. Eben Biana, Eben Nasoquire. I know why you go. I'm a cocoa Eben Nazo and I made road at 7. I'm a cocoa. Ndị na-abịa anagasị anyị ego 2020 naira dịka taa Monday anyị na-akwụcha ihe dịka 180 n'ụbọchị anyị ga-abịa kwụ 160 every day bọsọ ọbụla ha na-abịa na anyị ego anyị kwụchakwa ya kwụ ụgwọ ebe anyị kpọsara ahịa ihe na-akwụ ebe a bụ ihe na-akwụ ebe a 2007 na month anyị na-akwụ ebe a bọsọ ọbụla ndị na-anazi ego a na-abịa na anyị ego 2020 naira ụbọchị ha ga-abịa ha ga-erucha 9 ụbọchị ha ga-abịa ha ga-eru 8 ọka ha si akwụ bọsọ ọbụla magoro ụfọdụ ịpụta ijuba ha ihe ọmụ ha ikwere enye ha ego ha eburu ahịa gị kama ha ga-eburu ahịa gị ga-emebi ha ga-eburu ahịa m ga-emebi mụ enye ha ego adị ịmara ume nwere ike iji eke nara ha anụsa gị ọgụ so ha bịazie mụ enye ha ego ha etinye gị ego mana ndị nọ na ya ha ndị ezigbo mmadụ so since adị m ji wee nwụọ ha sị nkwụba ego na nna-akwụ etiri m ego na-akwụ 25.
Like their helpless mothers, children are also directly affected by the violent menace of tax collectors. This newspaper report on Onitsha details how levy collectors chased a school bus into a ditch, putting the life of school children at risk. Women traders traveling in lorries to long-distant markets to buy or sell yams, tomatoes, gari or other food items complain of routine harassment and extortion on the highways by law enforcement agents who obviously see honest work as a crime. At wheel, vehicles with goods are impounded and payments demanded. In November 1929, a rebellion by market women in southeastern Nigeria over taxation resulted in what is named in British colonial records as the Aba Women Riot. Thousands of angry women revolted against tax policies imposed by colonial administrators. The women attacked and set ablaze native courts run by colonial officials. They attacked the Barclays Bank, European-owned stores and prisons. About 50 women were shot dead in the uprising by colonial police. At the end, the colonial authorities were forced to drop plans to impose tax on market women. Most of the women that participated in the Aba Women Riot traded in palm oil and kernels. Madam Obegeli Ezanya from Ititi village, Ibuku, is one of the Igbo women whose mothers experienced the tax revolt in 1929. 86 years later, Obegeli, though proud to be in the palm oil business, is facing even worse tax conditions than those experienced by her mother.
And the yana kerukwa make it. Makana here na hona nkwu Igbo kita, ọ na do too much. Ụmụ nwoke ibiri taba ide af maka afọ do na ihe ahiri nne. anyị tawa afọ ahụ tachachacha ka anyị buruzie pụọ na Nkwa Igbo ka anyị ma na anyị na-eleta ego were rie nri ọ wee nyekwanụ ụmụ anyị aka anyị anaghị afụ ịgaji ebutu mmanụ aha akọbara weta ego a na nke a akọbara weta ego nke a so anyị amakwu na ndị gọọmenti wa na-ekwu na ha dịrị ha na nke a na ego ahụ na-elutụkwa ha aka tiketi eje ha enye gị ya mana eji agba mbọ nara gị ego a na ahụ so ihe a na-eme na ihe ọ na-eme anyị anya mmiri and ana m ekwu na ọnwụ na enebaghị ya anya na ihe a mere na Aba ga-emekwakwa na Nkwa Igbo.
Obegele's words were not mere prophecy. On 13 September 2014, various newspapers published reports of a women's protest in Aba. Over 300 women, mostly fruits and vegetable sellers from various markets in Aba, marched through major roads in protest against multiple taxation and intimidation by agents of the Aba South Local Government Council.
This one on a
A year before the Aba protest, on June 12, 2013, a similar women's protest was witnessed in Awka, capital of Anambra State. On that day, market women from Eke-Awka Market had taken to the streets in protest against a 3,000 naira development levy imposed by the state government. Riot policemen shut down the market, stopping both male and female traders from earning a living on that day.
We have instructed the Commissioner of Police, the people that will make these collections. You know, as a matter of fact, before we came in, like I told you, there were too many revenue collectors that we have pruned down to 15 now. And it's only under the signature of the Secretary to the State Government that those letters can go out. And it's only after I've approved same, you know. So any other fellow, and they've been arresting them in deluge, any other fellow that is still making collections that are illegal will be dealt with. And they're already dealing with them. We're prosecuting about 27 of them already, you know, and we'll continue to pick them up and deal with them, you know. People try to take advantage of some people, you know, but we have also instructed the market organizations to assist here. We've told them not to pay taxes to agents that are not government agents, full stop.
Human rights lawyer Emeka Omagbalasi is a public affairs commentator, especially on state, citizens, and social contract.
The Taxes and Levies Act, you know, have very clear provision for that. That if somebody is earning less than so amount as an income earner, the person is not entitled to personal income tax. And like I said, personal income tax also includes some of those things like development levy and things like that. Women should be exempted. Not women who have oil companies, so not what I'm saying. All these petty traders, all these women, some of them are widows, and those that are very poor in the society, they are supposed to be encouraged for not turning themselves into prostitution and things like that, and for deciding to struggle to earn their living so as to take care of their children legitimately.
Between 2009 and 2011, a total of 800 companies were forced to shut down due to harsh economic climate. Many more have suffered the same fate ever since. As the number of working male population takes a dive, more and more husbands are fleeing home with a corresponding increase in the number of female-headed households in Nigeria. With 80% of Nigeria's youth unemployed, according to the central bank, mothers must continue to feed their unemployed graduate children whom they had labored to send to school. This wood seller in Aba here insists on her bicycle's right of way. It is the only way to stay alive. Given all the broken political promises since 16 years of democracy, most people in Aba, as elsewhere in Nigeria, have come to believe in only one thing: self-help. Solutions to the menace of multiple taxation in Nigeria's informal sector should include automation of tax operations at state and local government levels. This would rid the system of illegal revenue collectors and corruption. Government should introduce a biometric system that captures a comprehensive tax record that can easily be accessed, even on a mobile phone, by tax authorities and taxpayers alike to confirm payment or dictate non-payment of taxes. This would eliminate corruption, multiple taxation, and also guarantee that small and medium businesses are taxed according to their income. This biometric system is already being considered in Anambra State.
We're trying to capture all the markets, men and women, and the stalls through biometrics. That will afford us an opportunity to, among other things, level tax where we can, and also for security, to know who is who.
Payment of taxes in cash should be replaced with an e-payment method as a way of blocking leakages in revenue collection. The use of consultants to collect taxes and levies is illegal and must therefore be challenged by the citizens in a court of law. The Taxes and Levies Act, previously referred to as the Taxes and Levies Decree No. 21 of 1988, prohibits the use of consultants for assessing and collecting taxes and levies by any tier of government. The law says no person other than the appropriate tax authority shall assess or collect tax or levy. Tax authorities should publish the approved list of taxes and levies within states and local governments as a way to educate the public and increase compliance rate. Finally, payment of tax should be seen as a basis for taxpayers to collectively demand good governance, respect of human rights, community participation in budget monitoring, all in a fulfillment of the social contract between the state and the people.
For my side, it's good though, as a banner, because even human being, you no go to the daily codino. I beg, it's good, make a banner. We don't want them again.
A lot of Nigeria youth that have been taken into codeine have caused a lot of havoc to them, even to the society in general.
The recent ban of codeine is very amazing because that will help the Nigerian youths to face the reality and know what they're doing. Because of then, man, people are taking this codeine and they'll be very slow, they can't even help themselves out. But now that it's banned, I think they have no way to find any excuse. So they will come out, do the right thing at the right time and work for themselves.
I feel happy about the ban of codeine in Nigeria because it has caused so many harms to our youth out there. They over-abuse it. For those it may affect, they can go for other alternatives of cough syrup. It's not only codeine that is in Nigeria that is cough syrup.
To some extent, it's okay. in the sense that the abuse is getting out of hand. You see people taking codeine as if they are drinking water, which is causing health hazard to most of us. That, I say, is not good. But think about it the other way around. I need codeine to cure me of one ailment or the other. And for me to go and get it now from the pharmacy becomes a problem because it's banned. So what do you do now? So before the government will come out to say this and that, I think it should be better for government to find out the root cause of why these guys or these little ones, not even guys this time, even women, even politicians, they do it, they take it. Find out why they are doing it, especially those guys outside. Then try to sort out that problem so that it will stop. If you say you ban it, the effect will be on almost everybody. But if you find out the root cause of why they are doing it, it will help us better.
I think the recent ban of codeine is one of the most positive things this government has done so far. And it's a very, very good thing because it will actually curtail drug abuse. Because if you look at Kano and Lagos State right now, they're among the highest abusers of drug, and Katsina State is a very good thing for the youth, and it will definitely grow the level of efficiency and self-sustenance in the country.
I can tell you of a place, lovely as a pretty face, rustling leaves and bowing trees underneath the evening breeze.
With a population of about 15 million people, Gbagi Gbari is the name of the language of this ethnic group predominantly found in central Nigeria. The Gbagi language is part of the Kwa subdivision of the Niger-Congo language family. Gbagi is the most populated ethnic and indigenous group in the Federal Capital Territory of Nigeria. They are also found in Niger, Kaduna, Nasarawa, and Kogi states in central Nigeria area. The word Gbagi, which the Gbagi people are famously called, is the name of a particular yam in Gbagi. Principally, there are three types of Gbagi: Gbagi Niger, Gbari Genge, and Gbari Yama. The Gbari people are predominantly farmers, but they're also hunters, while some are involved making traditional arts and craft products such as pottery and woodwork like mortar and pestle.
Making kites from paper bags, flying high above the clouds, dancing in the village square, lovers meet from far and near.
Historically, the Gbagi practice a patrilineal kinship system. The lowest tier of authority is found in the extended family compound led by the oldest male. The compounds consist of small huts and rectangular buildings. The Osu king is the highest tier of authority in the Gbagi settlement and is assisted by a group of elders. They are known to be noble, transparent, peace-loving, accommodating and warm. Their hospitable and cordial nature earned them the phrase Muyishi Gwari Gwari, which means let's do it like the Gbagis. The Gbagi people have emerged as a unique breed among Nigerians. Their culture shows how much they have come to terms with the universe. The favorite food of the Gbagis is known as the yize, made from the guinea corn. To form yiwo, a special drink which is used to drink the nalodo, a spicy soup made with locust beans, and the famous dress is called ajisida, made from local cotton and traditionally woven and dyed by their skillful dressmakers. Some of the popular festivals is the Agbamaya Festival and the Yibaji. The Agbamaya Festival is a celebration performed to welcome the rain during the raining season, while the Yibaji is a traditional Christmas celebration.
Where the owl is never safe and crickets cry to end the day.
The Gbagi people are adherents of Islam, Christianity and traditional African religion. In the traditional African religions, the Bayi believe in a god called Shikwe, one who was there before their ancestors, but they also devote themselves to appeasing deities of the god such as the Megiru. Many Bagi believe in reincarnation. Islam became more prominent among the people after the Fulani Jihad, while Christianity was introduced to the people by the Sudan Interior Mission, also known locally as the Evangelical Church of West Africa, and the Baptist missionaries from the western part of Nigeria. Prominent individuals from Bagi descent include former military rulers Ibrahim Babangida and Abdusalami Abubakar, and Nigerian multi-instrumentalist, singer-songwriter and composer B.E.Z. Bez, whose song you hear on the background.
I can tell you of a place, lovely as a pretty face, rustling leaves and bowing trees underneath the evening breeze.
Vote buying is an offense under the Electoral Act 2010 as amended, and it falls under bribery, and the law frowns at it. It is bad for the electoral process. It is bad for our democracy. It is something that political parties shouldn't be engaging in. For us, it's an indication that our processes have been so strengthened that the political parties are now aware that it is very difficult, if not impossible, to rig elections. They have seen that it's a waste of time to snatch ballot boxes or to attack our staff at polling units or attempt to force some result they must have manufactured somewhere on us, because the processes are strengthened, they are strong, and they are foolproof. So I think what they now resort to for those who engage in it is to try and persuade voters on the election day by trying to give them some money as an incentive to sway their minds to vote for their own party. And it is not right. We are determined to tackle it. We already, the chairman of INEC has asked the Inspector General of Police for assistance, and that is being done. And we are also stepping up the process by asking political parties. During our meetings, we have been emphasizing on the need for them to respect provisions of the law so that this democracy that we are nurturing will succeed, and we have that commitment from them. Even when we are registering new political parties, we also try to emphasize this necessity to follow the due process and to follow the law. And of course, we're also stepping up the voter education element by appealing to Nigerians that it is not right for you to sell your vote, because when you sell your vote, you know you cannot ask questions over the next 4 years, and you cannot hold the politician accountable, because he can then easily tell you that he has paid for your vote and you cannot question him. And for us, it's even, you know, an insult for somebody to offer you 4,000 or 5,000 naira for you to vote for me. I mean, is that what you are really worth? Is that what your vote is worth? So these are the kind of things that we want to encourage Nigerians not to, you know, give in to this pressure by some politicians to make them commit what in any case is an offense. Vote buying has been with us for many, many years. It's not a new phenomenon. It's been there for a long time. It's just that now it's becoming probably stronger than what it used to be. Ballot box snatching is also an old phenomenon. It's not new. All of these things are grouped under electoral violence. And the purpose of everything is to either disrupt the election itself or to sway votes in favor of your political party, and that's why you engage in all these things. But these things are wrong, because what the law envisages is not just those who commit the offense, it's not just the taker and the giver. The law goes in as far as identifying those who have the knowledge, that is, those who encourage these things to happen, what some have described as a mother spider. So when you are arrested and you now give the names of those who provided the money, for instance, or those you held meetings with, is also an offense. The law takes that into cognizance, and you can be brought to book. And so we encourage Nigerians to please stop this aspect of vote buying and selling, because democracy is about choosing people out of free will. In other words, you are a political party, you have your manifesto, you go to campaign, people listen to you, people try to rationalize, looking at the programs that you have. People who are concerned about education, about health, about infrastructure, about security, about all these issues, they can interrogate your manifesto. You have the opportunity of providing answers when they interrogate you. And then based on that, over time, they are convinced that this is the right party to vote for. But when you offer money, it then means that the essence of democracy will be eroded. All that opportunity is wished away for those who collect the money, because, you know, it then becomes a short-term advantage, because you take that money and then you spend it, and then when it's finished, what else do you have? You then mortgage the future, your own future and the future of your children. Because, look, even if you live up to 60 years old or 100 years old, if they take 4 years, it's still something. And that's the cycle of the election that we have. If you have a president, you can't change him, you can't vote him out until the next 4 years. If you have a governor, you can't do that. If you have a member of the Senate or the Federal House of Reps or the State House of State Assembly, you can't vote them out. So that's the effect. So when we think about these things, and politicians know that we are not going to sell our votes, it will make them get very serious about governance. And that's the essence of it. It will promote and protect our democracy. My name is Rotimi Ekomi. I work with INEC. We have, since 2017, registered over 12 million Nigerians. We still have quite a number of uncollected PVCs. We have just about 500,000 collected. We have about 7 million uncollected. So we appeal to Nigerians to please collect their PVCs. We also want to appeal to Nigerians not to engage in vote buying and selling. Not good for our democracy at all. Please express your choice freely. Don't engage in violence, especially to our youth. Don't allow politicians to persuade you to engage in any form of violence. It's not good for this country. Democracy is about choice. You have the right to interrogate the manifestos presented by political parties. When they come, ask them questions. What do they have for you in education? What do they have? What programs do they have under health, infrastructure? All the things that you desire for the country to make this country better. And if they provide the answers and you are convinced, then you can, of course, make your choice. Right now, the choice is vast. We have just registered 23 new political parties. Now we have 91 political parties. So if they all present candidates, fine. But if they don't, those that present candidates, you also have the opportunity to make your choice freely. And I wish you all the best. I wish our country all the best. Thank you for listening.
Ours is a country of vast tropical and equatorial woodlands, with arid deserts to extensive savanna grasslands, expansive mountains, immense rivers, numerous waterfalls, and mystical forests. Nigeria has it all. It is a place of rhythm, of dance, of music, of festivals, of tradition and culture, of spectacular color, of glamour, and a country of 200 million smiles. And home to a unique people of incomparable passion. A country blessed with breathtaking landscapes. Home to some of the most diverse equatorial flora and fauna species on the earth. Nigeria is the undisputed welcoming heart of Africa. We have 521 unique ethno-linguistic groups. The world's newest and organic language, Pidgin, the world's oldest structural sign language, Hausa Sign Language. In addition to the world's oldest continuous market, the 600-year-old Kurmi market, which is situated within the ancient northern city of Kano, where 1,000-year-old city walls can still be found intact to this day. Nigeria has unique and ancient cultures, traditions and customs, and is steeped in spirituality, with as many Muslims as Christians. We also boast the world's oldest systematic religious philosophical system in Ifa, also known as Afa, and practiced as Santeria, Candomblé, Palo, Ubanda, and Voodoo, and in various countries around the world. Nigeria is also home to the world's oldest purpose-built boat, the 8,500-year-old Ifuna canoe. Nigeria is the home of African sports, both ancient and modern, and has always been the beating heart of African football, which has gifted the world with some of the most dynamic and creative football players of all time. Gifted the world with music and artists such as the late Fela Kuti, King Sunny Ade, Seal, and many international performing artists, including Dame Shirley Bassey and Shadi Adu. Our country has also gifted the world with giants of African literature and poetry. Nigeria is a country on the move, a country of hard-working people and industrious and creative people. Our film industry, known as Nollywood, produces more movies in one day than Hollywood produces in 2 weeks, and is the place of thousands of stars and of millions of wonderfully welcoming, warm people. We are a country of kings, of queens, businessmen, and businesswomen. A place of vast, sprawling game parks, a country where African traditions have always been first. A country of drums, of colors, culture, of festivals, of music, of rhythm, and art. This is Nigeria. There is simply nothing quite like it.
Tribal mark is the scratching, etching, burning, or cutting designs, pictures, or words into the skin as a permanent body notification or modification.
The practice of tribal marks have been in existence for hundreds of years, and they are not peculiar to Nigeria, not even Africa. During the transatlantic slave trade, tribal identification and facial stripes became important as many repatriated slaves later reunited with their communities by looking at facial stripes.
The major purpose of tribal marks is for identification of a tribe, family, or patrilineal heritage, symbols of beauty, creativity, and keeping of mischievous people alive, which is known as Ila Abiku among the Yoruba tribe of Nigeria.
Yorubas trace the origin of tribal mark to a certain king named Shango, who sent 2 slaves to a distant country for an important mission. When the slaves returned, Shango, the king, found that one slave had achieved successfully what he had been sent to do, while the other had accomplished nothing. The king therefore rewarded the first with high honors and ordered the second to receive 122 razor cuts all over his body, which was to serve as a punishment for flaunting the king's assignments.
But when the scars healed, the appearance of the face of the slave was remarkable, which gave the slave a greatly elegant look, which took the fancy of the king's wives.
Shango therefore ordered that cuts should in future be given not as punishment, but as a sign of royalty, and he placed himself at once in the hands of his subjects to get them out. However, he could only bear 2 cuts, and so from that day, 2 cuts on the arm have been a sign of royalty. This then introduced various other cuts as marks to different tribes.
In traditional Yoruba societies, every child is born into a patrilineal clan called Idile Baba in Yoruba language. The clans share clan names, Orile or Oriki, which means poetry or taboos, Ewo, and facial marks, Ila.
The facial marks on the child assigns the child full clan membership rights. The children with facial marks are called Okola. Families or individuals lacking the normal features consistent with the tribe are not considered as acquiring full standing as agents in Yoruba society. They would also lack the capacity for meaningful behavior such as greeting.
Each tribe of the Yoruba ethnic group had different inscription patterns which appears in different sizes and shapes at different locations within the face or body. The location and position of the mark's inscription depends on the tribe and culture. The tribal marks could be inscribed on the breast, arm, lap, or buttocks, but they are usually on the face.
Popular among the Yoruba tribal marks are Bele. The Bele style is 3 longitudinal lines inscribed on the cheeks. The variant includes Bele Ife. It is peculiar to the Ile Ife people. Bele Ijebu and Bele Ijesha are other variants of Bele. Owu tribal marks consist of 6 incisions on each side of the cheeks and peculiar to the indigenes of Owu, an historical city in Abeokuta, the capital of Ogun State, Nigeria. The Owu tribal mark was inscribed on the cheeks of Chief Olusegun Obasanjo, the former president of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The Gombo style, also known as Keke, consists of multiple straight and curved lines about a half an inch apart inscribed on the cheeks on both sides of the mouth. Indigenes of Ogbomoso in Oyo State are usually identified by the Gombo or Keke style of tribal marks.
Abaja can be both a basic and also a complex style. It is basic from its either 3 or 4 horizontal stripes on the cheeks. The Abaja style also consists of 12 horizontal lines, 6 lines per cheek. It is often referred to as Abaja Alaafin Mefa. The Abaja style of Yoruba tribal mark was inscribed on the cheeks of Lamidi Adeyemi II, the Alaafin Oyo. Other Yoruba tribal marks include Ture, Mande, Bamu, and Jangbadi.
The use of tribal mark as a means of identification and visification among the Yoruba tribe is no longer a norm, and some Yoruba states have enacted certain laws that prohibit the use of marks. Violators of the law are liable to fines or imprisonment or both. In Oyo State, for example, the prohibition of tribal marks is an integral part of the state's child rights law, a law that imposes a fine of 1 month imprisonment or both for violation. According to the law, no person shall tattoo or make a skin mark or cause any tattoo or skin mark to be made on a child.
Prominent people with tribal marks include Olusegun Obasanjo, Lamidi Adeyemi II, Ayo Fayose, Adegboyega Dosumu, Amororo I, and Christopher Alao Akala, Alpha Begore, and King Sunny Adays, to mention but a few.
Sunana Yakubu, amma an fi sani na da Yaks. Abu mafi mahimmanci shine har yanzu muna zaune da ƙwayar cutar polio a ƙasar mu. Wasu sun san ɗigon rigakafin polio, wato ɗigo biyu da ake bada na baki. Wasu kuma ba su san da haka ba. Wasu suna tunanin wannan ɗigo guda biyu sau ɗaya kawai ya wadatar. Shin ɗigo biyu ya wadatar? Bari mu bincika. Yaya aiki?
Lafiya kalau.
Digon mai guda biyu kawai zai isa soya kosai?
Ba zai isa ba.
To, ta ce ba zai isa ba. Ina zuwa. Na gode. Shin za ki amfani da digon nono guda biyu kawai ki dama fura?
A'a, ba zai yiwu ba gaskiya. Saboda nonon ne yake taimakawa wurin dama furan.
Na gode. Tambaya nake, shin digon ruwa biyu kawai zai isa haɗa shayi?
Ai ba zai yiwu a haɗa ruwa da shayi da digon ruwa biyu ba. Dalili kuwa ai ba zai isa mutum ba. Dole sai ya kai kaman kofi ɗaya.
Barka da.
Barka gare.
Da Allah tambaya nake so yi.
Allah sa na sani.
Shin digon man fetur guda biyu, digon man fetur guda biyu zai isa ya sa wannan mashin aiki?
A'a, ba zai sa shi aiki ba gaskiya.
Dalili ba?
Saboda ai bai wadace shi ba.
Haba.
Kwarai da gaske.
To nan ina zaka?
Dan je nan bani.
Da Allah bari bi ka. Allah bai na wani.
Lafiya lau.
Kwayan gishiri biyu kadai. Shin zai isa ya sa naman nan daɗi?
A gaskiya ba zai isa ya sa naman nan daɗi. Sai an ɗan sa gishirin da yawa tukuna, sannan a haɗa, sannan ya garwaye naman har ya yi daɗi.
Na gode. Kuma yadda muka je, ɗigo biyu kawai bai sa ya wadatar da wani abu mai ma'ana ba. Haka ma ɗigon rigakafin polio. Dole ne yaro ko yarinya su samu ɗigo biyu akai-akai na rigakafin polio. Wannan ɗigo biyu akai-akai shi zai wadatar wajen kare yaro ko yarinya daga kamuwa da cutar koko kowace irin cutar polio.
Elections should not be a do or die affair. There's no basis for violence in an election. If any politician asks them to go and do violence because they want to pay them, let them ask them, any politician, to go and bring his son or daughter to lead the violence.
I want to employ the young people in the forthcoming election not to fight. They should be orderly. At the same time, they must be vigilant.
I support the campaign or vote and not fight. Let us vote peacefully and shun any form of conflict.
Yes, it's a beautiful Tuesday evening here in the nation's capital, and trust me, a whole lot going on in the politics. As usual, we have seen lots of drama, and we're yet to see more drama talking about the the polity and the build-up to the elections in 2019. But there's one coming in less than, say, 5-6 days this weekend. It is the Osun elections, where the gladiators will battle it out for the soul of Osun State. Yes, INEC has come out to make very strong statements as regards vote buying and how they intend to make a statement with vote buying. We hope and we're waiting to see what they will do with that. Don't forget also that the debate that was held a couple of days ago, one party's flag bearer wasn't there. Well, we saw a few shades that was thrown. Nevertheless, voters will decide who their candidates, who the governor will be for the next 4 years in Osun State this Saturday. Anyway, this is the conversation, and we're looking at a few issues. I'm talking about godfatherism, talk about vote buying, talk about the electoral reform, talk about the polity, and all of that. And I have with me here in the studio a seasoned man who understands the political party system, Nigeria, the polity, and all of these issues that I've just reeled out to you. He'll be joining me in a short while. But we're going on a short break. Don't forget, you can watch us live across the world anywhere. Download our mobile app via our Google Play Store and the iOS Store. It's PTV Nigeria. You can also watch us live via our website. It's www.ptvng.com/live. Follow us on Twitter and my guest is Sesu Akume, spokesperson of the Abundant Nigeria Renewal Party, yeah? ANRP, Abundant Nigeria Renewal Party. Yes, spokesperson. And also, you've been involved with the Bring Back Our Girls movement, yes, as a spokesperson as well. And you've been, a major opinion leader when it comes to national issues and political issues and all of that. First of all, let's get to meet you. Bring Back Our Girls, was one of the things that, put you out there that we basically have known you for. How did party politics get into the business?
Well, the issues about that Bring Back Our Girls, for instance, looks into, if you look at it generally, has to do with issues of governance, has to do with issues of bad governance. Because in the first place, if we had a functional government and we had a proper system in Nigeria, there wouldn't have been abduction in the first place. That was in 2014. We've had bad governance consistently up to now. That's why we had Dapchi abduction. Unfortunately, we had one of our compatriots murdered yesterday. Sufaira Husseini was murdered by the terrorists yesterday. One of the 3 aid workers who was abducted since March. And so we have these issues. And you can see the response of the Nigerian state. A Nigerian citizen was murdered yesterday, and nobody said anything about it. No official government channel said anything about it. And so when you're advocating and saying, no, this ought to be this way, this ought to be that way, for how long shall we do it? And so we need to upgrade the quality of people who participate in our public sector. And part of the ways through of doing that is through the electoral process. And so we had to come together to form a party that would allow for people of certain minds, like minds, to come together, organize themselves, and play the role, instead of leaving it to people who don't care about our system and who just do things the way they want, instead of standing outside and talking about it. And so that's how party politics came in.
So it was born out of desire to, in summary, make things work.
Yes, indeed, because things are not working, and there's only so much you can say. There's only so much you can do. For instance, in the next election cycle, we're going to vote for a president, for governors, for National Assembly members, for State Assembly members. There's so much all of them can do if we have the right people in the right places. Okay. If we don't have, all we can do is to tell them to do what, for most of them, they don't have the capacity to do and don't even have the mind to do. So it's important to replace them and put the people who are public-spirited in those places, and that's one of the means of going about it.
Okay, now your party has been involved in a couple of elections so far, since inception till now.
Yes.
How has it been? have you fared?
Yeah, so our party got registered in December 2017. We're just about 9 months old. In fact, we're 9 months old. We've participated in some elections. We've done fairly well, and we've been building our system organically, and so we're doing quite fine. We're participating in the next elections this Saturday, by the way. Yeah. So the most important thing is to start something, to build, to take baby steps, and then to learn to walk, and then to run, and then we're flying. But the most important thing is to start doing things and to lay a solid foundation whereby you can build on, and that's what we're doing slowly and steadily, for surely.
But don't forget that a few people have criticized the Bring Back Our Girls movement. More like their criticism was the fact that you guys were being sponsored or put together by an opposition to undermine the efforts of the current administration. And boom, a party is out of that now. I mean, back and forth. What does this bring to mind?
No, I don't get a connection, because the party the government you're talking about was a government of the former administration. So when the former administration was in office, we were said, the Bring Back Our Girls movement, for instance, was said to have been sponsored or been, sponsored by the government that is in office today.
Now, yes.
So the table switched. So the issue is, did Bring Back Our Girls shift because the so-called sponsors are now in office? Of course not. So Bring Back Our Girls is regime or administration neutral. And then they kept the consistency, the values, the system, the advocacy, everything on. In fact, tomorrow, the Bring Back Our Girls movement is going to the Villa tomorrow for another protest in the same government that formerly was said to be sponsoring that same movement. So it doesn't. So, but like I said, the whole thing has to do with failure of governance. And so if I as a person choose to say, okay, beyond doing the advocacy on this level, can we also organize other like-minded people to make sure that we get into the office? For instance, in the U.S. Congress, we have Bring Back Our Girls members. Every Wednesday, they do advocacy. They do Bring Back Our Girls sit out, and they take pictures, and that's the U.S. Congress. In the Nigerian National Assembly, you don't have anybody talking about Nigerian citizens. You don't have, like I said, yesterday one of us was murdered by the terrorists. I've not seen any National Assembly member, not one state assembly member, not one governor, not the president, anybody say anything about a Nigerian. So ask yourself, were this to happen in some other country where there are decent people who know what they're doing? Is that what would have been? So for how long shall we keep saying that this ought to be this way? The best thing is, just like the Chinese proverb says, it's better to light a candle than to curse the darkness. So while we're cursing the darkness, we can also light a candle, and so that's how the whole process is.
Okay, now let's talk about the lone girl from Dapchi who is still in captivity now, Leah Sharibu. We understand that some amount of money, yes, was paid for the other girls that were released, and many have wondered why Leah Sharibu, why is she still left behind? Now, that was a question to the Nigerian government. Why was it still she left behind?
Yes.
The Nigerian government has denied paying money, giving any financial, having any negotiations to these people. But a foreign investigation backed up by the UN has come out to, affirm that yes, some cash exchange hands and all of that. And then she's still in captivity. Now they have said that if you don't bring money, we'll kill her. What is the group's position on this, BBOG now?
Well, about that, the most important thing, our position on this issue has been very simple and has been very consistent, very straightforward. The issue is, there are three approaches. First and foremost is for the government of Nigeria to use military might, to rescue our citizens and defeat the terrorists. That's one option. The other one is to negotiate with them and give them what they want and then get what you want. That's two. The third option is a combination of both. Use a carrot and stick. Use force and use the negotiation. But the fourth one, which we would not accept, is sitting down and doing nothing and expecting that everybody's going to forget. The fourth option is off the table. So for those three, we've told the government that you're the one who have all the information, you have all the access, so you can determine, you can do weigh your pros and cons and know what best decision to take. So weigh your pros and cons and take the decision. The decision is yours to take. But on the issue of Leah Sharibu, it's a very, very unfortunate one that cannot be explained. How can it be said that 110 schoolgirls were abducted? For 3 days, hardly anybody said anything. There were only denials. And so Chibok girls repeated by itself. The denials and then getting the numbers false and not going for a hot pursuit and recovering them and all the back and forth. April 2014 played itself all over again. And then some were back, the 110, 104 are back. Leah Sharibu is the only one who is still in captivity, and the government hasn't told us why she's in captivity. The people who came back said that, well, the reason it happened was because she refused to convert from Christianity to Islam, and so that's why she is. And so the government is already sending wrong signals, because what does it mean? Does it mean if you're a Muslim, you're protected, but when you're a Christian, you're not? A government shouldn't do that. A government, every citizen is equal, and then we're free to practice whatever religion we want. And so that's another dent on this regime for having made us such an error. And for now, that's how it is. And then the parents are in the dark. They don't know what's going on. But note that I said there were 110, 104 are back. 5 have not been accounted for. The government never said anything that, okay, this is what happened, never accounted for them, never reached their parents to say anything. And so that's where the problem is. And so it's not just with this regime, it's just with the bad governance we've been having since for a very long time now. And so it's very important for people who feel strongly about this to organize themselves and see what can be done to get into that system and upturn it positively in a way that we can start building a nation, because right now we don't have a nation.
But what would have NRP done differently? I mean, if there was such a position, I mean, it's a tight corner.
What is a tight corner?
I mean, negotiating with terrorists, it's quite delicate. You have to do it with lots of tactics and wisdom, so that you don't lose this one Nigerian girl.
Indeed.
So what gives the impression that the government is just sitting down without doing anything? Yeah,
the government is just sitting down and not doing anything, because that's the fact. Because if there were in facts, there should have been information to different people at different times. For instance,
do they have to always come out and
give, that's what I said.
Like update on that?
That's precisely what I said. I said information to different people at different times in different degrees. For instance, if it's your own child, I should be able to communicate to you and tell you that we're sorry it happened to your child, but we care so much, this is what we're doing, this is what we're doing, this is what we're doing. But for these other ones, just know that you're not forgotten, because that person is a precious Nigerian soul, and every Nigerian is equal. No Nigerian is more Nigerian than any other Nigerian. So what that means is Leah Sharibu is as important as Zara Buhari. That's how important it is. So if it were, for instance, Zara Buhari, who was in captivity, is that how everybody will go about their business? The president will go campaigning and be going about as if nothing's at stake? No. So that's how it is. Every Nigerian is equal. Equal. That's what it means. So you tell the parents, this is what's going on. You tell the community, this is what's going on. And then you tell the public that this is what's going on. That's what any other normal system would do. Not keeping quiet and pretending that nothing happened, and then so that eventually everybody's going to forget about it. Systems don't work that way. Countries are not built that way.
Okay. So in the last 2 or 3 years that the group has been in active participation now, what has been the achievement for this formation? That is, if we didn't have BBOG, what would we have lost?
BBOG is 4.5 years.
4.5 years.
Yes, it's getting to 5 years, unfortunately.
Wow.
The advocacy didn't intend lasting for more than a day, because we had assumed that we had a functional system. We thought that if more than 200 schoolgirls are taken, the nation and the administration would be jolted and say, no, what's this? And sit down, fold their sleeves, and do whatever needs to be done to make sure that they're back within a few days, a week maximum. Unfortunately, we don't have that. Up to now, we don't have anything close to that. And so that's what needs to, that's part of the reason that we need a different set of people in our governance system. That's why. We don't need people who lack empathy, people who can't connect with other people's pains. People who, because they're living in a certain way, living off us, forget that there are people who are actually suffering, and that Nigeria is the poverty capital of the world, that we're insecure, that the fact that we don't have electricity is slowing us down, because the fact that you are living your life on generators funded by the state doesn't mean that out there's electricity. And so there are people who are completely disoriented and have lost track of reality, and that's why it's important for people to organize in order to get into that system. But to answer what BPG has been able to achieve some things. That's not our goal. We wanted all our Chibok girls to be back. 107 of them are back, 112 remain missing, but we cannot discountenance some of the things that have been able to be done. I mean, 107 wouldn't have been back in the first place. There was an abduction of 16 women, Lassa women, including police women. The police denied that it happened. The government kept quiet. It was that movement that kept talking about it. It forced President Buhari to admit that indeed Dapchi women were, Lassa women were abducted, including police women, and that his administration was going to do whatever it could to bring them back. Today, 10 of them are back. The 6 who couldn't come back were identified as police women and were murdered by the terrorists. That's why they're not back, but the 10 are back. There's also the University of Maiduguri lecturers, 3 of them, who of the Department of Geology. They were part of an oil exploration in the Lake Chad Basin area. They were abducted, and nobody was saying anything about it, and that's how it would have gone, just like the Lassa women. It was this same persistence and all of that. Today, all 3 of them are back. The government wasn't saying anything about it, wasn't doing anything about it. And we had to keep fighting, and we had to have confrontations with the police, and to have and all of that, and do all, it hasn't been fun indeed. But the most important thing is they're back. Dr. Solomon Nehemiah Yusuf, whose wife was pregnant when he was abducted. When she heard the news, she went into forced labor and gave birth to a baby. You can imagine that. So for all the while, Dr. Yusuf was in captivity. He hadn't seen his daughter. The daughter hadn't seen the father. And the wife risked her life from hearing that shock. So these are not just fairy tales. These are life stories of human beings. And so imagine what would have been if he never came back, and if nobody said anything, and the government went to sleep and went about their politics, because for them that's what's most important, instead of governance. And so that's part of what NRP, for instance, always remind the government to focus more on governance than on politics. We do too much politics. Okay. So in 2019, 2018, we're already talking of 2023. When right now our economy is growing negatively, which means more people are losing their jobs, which means life is getting more difficult, which means and there's more insecurity. These are things we should be focusing on, not talking about elections.
Okay, hold your thought there, Sesu Akume. I have been speaking with Sesu Akume, spokesperson of ANRP, yes, Abundant Nigeria Renewal Party. We'll be back in a short time, and we need to get the policies and what the party stands for, as well as his take on a few other national issues. But don't go anywhere, it's the conversation here on People's Television.
People's Television Nigeria has gone mobile. You can now watch PTV Nigeria on the go, anywhere in the world. For real-time notifications, just go to Google Play Store if you're on Android, or Apple Store if you're on iOS. Search for PTV Nigeria. Download. It's free, it's easy. And now you can catch up with the latest news, analysis, and political discourse on the go. So stay connected with PTV, Nigeria's #1 online TV.
Welcome back. It has been the conversation, and have been speaking with Sesu Akume, and he's been here talking about a few issues, and extracting some of the activities that he's been part of, talking about ANRP as well as BBOG. But let's talk about some of the policies of this government now. Let's look at the Nigeria-China trade ties now. I mean, first it started with the currency swap, the Nigerian-Chinese currency swap, that made it easy for Nigerians to do business directly from to China or with China, and also for them to do business with us directly. We don't have to go through the dollar and get business done. We can take our naira or get Chinese yen straight up and do our business there. Yet a few people came and criticized the system. I mean, can't we just get it right once with this administration? I mean, what exactly is your thoughts on that? And then he moved from that to taking a loan, and many credit out the loan. But we have seen our railways are working. We've seen more rail tracks set for to connect more cities, especially business hubs or cities that are open to business, like the Aba, like the East-West area, like the Ibadan, Lagos, like all of these. We've seen all of this, and I've traveled by train, like some few months ago. Now, what exactly is your take on this relationship? All of this bilateral relationship. What's your take on that?
You traveled from where to where?
From Abuja to Kaduna.
Oh, okay.
Yes, by
train.
Train, and it was smooth and seamless.
Yeah, that's nice. No, that's nice. The Abuja Kaduna train system. I've not used it before, but everybody who has praised it. So it's nice. You wouldn't blame Nigerians. You wouldn't blame us about anything. You wouldn't blame us about our criticism of the regime. You wouldn't blame us about criticizing their. You wouldn't blame us about criticizing their policies or how they go about it. First and foremost, the regime itself is uncoordinated. What do I mean by this? When the issue of a currency swap, that's yuanization, came up, most people commended it. I inclusive, so many other people did so. When they went to China, they said this is what they were going to do. Whilst in China, the governor of the CBN was saying one thing, the Minister of Foreign Affairs was saying another thing, the SA on new media was tweeting another thing. These were three contradictory statements, all of them from China. And then they had to reverse themselves. And they kept sending wrong signals. Who is to blame about this? When they came back from China, there was no unification. You notice that it's not this year it started. They started having that discussion then. So, was there any time the government sat down and explained to Nigerians what this thing means? They didn't. They only made a policy pronunciation. Everybody had to go scampering around to study what it meant and asking those who knew to tell them. That's not how to lead the people. You first and foremost explain why this is important, break it down, and get a buy-in so that you don't get any opposition and so that the mission and why you want to do it succeeds. And then you have one messaging. You don't have a CBN governor saying one thing, a Minister of Foreign Affairs saying another thing, and then a presidency spokesperson saying a third thing. And then in the end, you don't even implement it. And so that's the issue about that. About loans in China is the same thing. Just recently, we collected $322 million, which was said to be stolen by the late military dictator Sani Abacha. We decided to share the money amongst the people we say are the poorest of the poor Nigerians. The question our own party asked was, okay, you're giving them these handouts now. We know how a conditional cash transfer works. We know how it has worked in Nigeria before and failed. We know how it's been used to run politics in Nigeria. We know all of that. Coming from where we've been and where we are now, how is it sustainable to give people cash every month to live by? And then what if the cash gets finished? What value are you going to get after that? What is the sustainability of that? Those are the questions we asked. So after you've had money and you decided to share it to people, you now go and borrow. How does that make sense? That you had money, which you could have used to set up systems that will sustain themselves and help other systems to grow. You decided to give it to individuals, to share it to individuals. And then now you decided to go and borrow at an interest rate, at a high interest rate and opaque conditions that we citizens can't tell. How are we supposed to respond to it? At the same time, Sri Lanka, China is taking over Sri Lanka because they took loans from them that they have not been able to pay. It's not just Sri Lanka, it's happening on this continent. And so there are other countries where because they are indebted to China and because the loans, the way they are structured, they're not going to be favorable to you, they're favorable to them. And China has an agenda on Africa to colonize Africa, and it's happening. So why would you walk with your 2 feet and go into a trap and then put us into a debt that we don't even understand? Why are we not supposed to say anything? By June 2015, our debt profile was at 12.12 trillion naira. In the past 3 years, it has grown by 10 trillion naira. What did we borrow the money to do? Is it train lines? If I ask you, you wouldn't be able to tell me. For all the monies that have been said to be recovered from all the people who stole money, who were said to have stolen money and all of that. So where's the money? What is it being used for? No response. There hasn't been transparency in the communication. There's no transparency in what they're doing. There's no articulation of what's going on. And so we get concerned. And so that's why we ask all the questions we do. And quite frankly, for all the questions we've asked, we've never got any answers. I'll ask you again, who is the president's economic advisor? Do you know his name? It's not that important to them. We don't know who the person is. We don't know who is coordinating our economic policy and driving it. We don't know who's doing that. And so how could you have come into governance to say that you're going to fix the economy, that's fix electricity, create jobs, fix the economy, fight corruption, and create more opportunities, and we don't know who's handling the economy? And we don't have the key questions we don't have anybody to answer them. So how do we proceed from there? That's why for many times we just know that the administration, quite frankly, doesn't know what it's doing. And so that's why we need to come back. And that's part of the reason I told you that ANRP had to come up, so that we can ask ourselves these questions. What can be done better? What can we do better? And have those engagements and come up with what can be done and what can be done better, and to get feedback and criticism on what our policies are, so that these are things that can be done, actually. It's not that difficult. I'm not saying it's not difficult. I'm only saying that it's not difficult the way people, incompetence makes it look like.
Okay, let's talk about some of the aspects. Let's look at the issue of the electioneering issue now. I mean, your party has come out and duly registered. I was going through your website. There seems to be some very nice coordinated process to probably getting, being a member, paying your dues, inviting somebody, reading about the party, and all of that. And many would say they start the news, so it's still fresh. What's your take on that? I mean, if you peradventure get into office, any political office, what would you still maintain this system? Yeah, you think the stress of governing and maintaining a party system wouldn't be so cumbersome? Yeah, so we've looked at all of that. In our own party, it's already stated there. People who run the system, office holders, don't run the party. The party has its own system that runs by itself. So today I'm spokes for ANRP, assuming that I become an office holder. I cannot be spokes of ANRP any longer. So I would have to relinquish this position. There will be an election, someone will succeed me and do that. So there's the system that runs, and then the people who face the governance. And so that's how it's structured. So the party can be growing. We will be doing what the party wants to be done. And if we don't do what the party wants to be done, the system is so powerful that it can get us out of office. How true is that?
It's
we know politicians in this country are very powerful. No, that's part of what systems like ours want to address. Why is the politician that powerful? Where did he derive his powers from? Where did he derive his powers from? Even the government itself is too powerful. Very true. Yeah, because our own system, our own constitution says that sovereignty belongs to the people. It is from these people that the government derives its own power through the constitution. So where the government is so powerful today that use sirens to chase us off the road and use armed mopo to intimidate us, where they derive the powers from? They derive the powers from us, the people, through the constitution. So for no reason should the government be more powerful than the people. We've invented the process. It's because we have not been practicing democracy. We've only been practicing civil rule since '99. And the people, the opportunists who got into the system first, knew this thing, and then they abused the system and they want to keep it that way. And these are the things we want to upturn. So I belong to a political party. The party has supremacy. The party, I can't, if the party says we can't do this, I can't say I want to do this. The party would
pull me aside and tell me this is not what we said. So how I said that in our own party, like you already stated, we put premium on membership. We don't want a crowd. We want members. So we have a database. We have a neat database that's kept at our National Secretariat. It's electronic. Even when people register offline, we still put them on our electronic database. So we have a database, we know who our members are, we have their phone numbers, email addresses, age ranges, and gender, and all of that. Yes, we're doing that deliberately. The point is, if you become an elected official, our party members can always organize themselves we have structures from the ward, local governments, states, and national levels. They can always organize themselves using their register because we have a functional register. They can simply coordinate, call each other, coordinate and say, we don't like this person any longer. So it's easy to get the votes to vote you out, to recall you if we want it. Because we started with the right foundation because we have a neat register. We know who our members are. Not what the charade that happened in Kogi, whereby they couldn't get the electorate together, organize them to recall that person they wanted to recall. For us, we've gotten that system already. The day politicians start fearing the people is the day we would have had our liberty. For now, they're too comfortable.
Okay, now let's talk about, like I said, electioneering now. Let's look at the cost of purchasing nomination forms. Now, I don't know what your party's pegs their price at, but we've heard lots of outcry at the price that top 2-3 political parties have pegged their as, and it is really outrageous. But their defense is they run a party, they run a system, and you have to fund a party. You need money to fund a party. I mean, doesn't that defense hold water for you?
It doesn't hold water. It doesn't hold water because...
Don't forget, the bigger your party becomes, the more money you will need.
It doesn't hold water. Those people are built on the wrong foundation. Ours is built on the foundation of, like I said, membership. It's built on a foundation of collective ownership. It's built on a foundation whereby when you're a member, you pay your dues.
So is the party supposed to survive on dues?
Yes, indeed. Otherwise, how do parties survive on? Look,
what are the advantages that the party have that they have people in high elected positions?
Okay, so fine. I like it that this conversation is going that direction. If a party has people in elected positions, what next? Where are they getting the money to fund the party? If it's the people in office we're depending on, where are they getting the money to fund the party?
I mean, they have allowances. We're not saying anything outside the constitution. We're saying we both know that politicians in this country, by their due allowances, earn well.
So this is part of what we are fighting. Why are politicians paid higher? We want politicians to place on a minimum wage. It's not that today you are just an average Joe like the rest of us. Tomorrow you become a politician elected into office, and then you become a rich person all of a sudden. Who does that? It's an aberration that we have a National Assembly that is the highest paid in the world. It's not right. For how long shall we keep doing this? So we're supposed to have moderate earnings. So if you want extra, you work extra, you do business, you do whatever you need to do. Now, if I'm so rich as an elected to fund the party, how can the party hold me responsible? Because he who pays the piper takes the tune. So it's a slow process, but we need to build it that way, of having members own the party by contributing a little, making donations, and then raising funds through that means, not through politicians. If you do that, then you can build a structure that you can depend on. We're not building our own party for 2019. We're not building our party for 2023. We already have 2118 in mind, the next 100 years in mind. So we're building slowly and steadily. But when we get it right, when we've built a mass movement, when we have members that get what we're talking about, we would have built a critical mass that cannot be reversed. That's what those other people do not bank on. So, like I said, having a form to cost 40-something million naira, how does it make sense? How does a normal person, a normal Nigerian, remove 40-something million naira to purchase a form? Where do you get the money from? If you pay that kind of money, what else are you going to be doing? When you get into office, how are you going to be recovering that money? So the cost of elections are high but it's deliberately so.
Many have said it's a system issue.
So,
it's not a party issue. It's a system
so
issue.
who fixes the system? When we call it a system, what is the system? We have to break down the system and say, you know what, in my own little corner, I will do things properly. That's how it comes together to form a system. So when you do a wrong thing and blame a system, you're part of the problem. So you don't exclude people through high fees. You don't do that. You make it something that every hardworking person, every reasonable person, every average Joe can afford. Because the issue here is, it's not business we're going into. We're going into public service. So if I'm supposed to cost 5 million naira to just purchase a form, purchasing a form doesn't guarantee that I'm going to win. So which means I'm gambling with 5 million naira. So the stakes are already high. When I get into office, I need to make 100 million naira to make up for that. And so the same system we're talking about keeps getting more corrupted. Okay. So we need to correct it at every stage where we are.
Okay, it's really been deep with you, Stacey Akwe. But I mean, time is really fast spent. But quickly, vote buying now. It was the order of the day in Ekiti.
It's a shame.
It was the by-elections we saw in Kogi, in Katsina, and in Bauchi. It was a major issue. Indeed. As low as 100 naira to as much as 5,000 naira. And many are asking, is this how low we have come to? You know, but what is your party saying on this matter?
No, our party has condemned vote buying in total. Has blamed INEC, blamed the police. Task to make sure that they stop that thing. The Electoral Act is very clear. In section 125, 126, 129, 130, it's very clear.
But INEC does not have any constitutional powers to prosecute anybody on vote
INEC
buying.
does not have constitutional power. Who said INEC doesn't have constitutional powers to prosecute? They do. They're just not using their powers. INEC plays the victim. They sit back and blame the system and blame everybody. There are pictures of an INEC official collecting money. You didn't see them? There are pictures. If there's vote buying, there's supposed to be a booth. Someone goes into a booth. There's no secrecy. They show somebody their voter slip where they voted to go and collect money. And INEC is overseeing that process, and they're saying they don't have any powers to prosecute. What does that mean? Why do we have officials there? Tell the people that this is not allowed. If you don't do so, the elections won't hold, and they're going to be afraid and comply. Get law enforcement to arrest the people who did the vote buying, both those who are paying and those who are receiving. The other side of it is, I'm sorry to say, but this regime, this government in office, is also promoting vote buying through various means. Why is it that the trader money scheme was done in Oshun when there is just days away to elections? Why did they release the monies to pay salaries just days before? That's just a technical way of buying the vote.
No, pay salaries is wages. I mean,
yeah,
you work for
wages. Why didn't they pay for all that while? Is that the only state that needs to pay wages? There's so many states that need to pay wages. And then it coincidentally happens to be Oshun, and then it coincidentally happens to be when elections are around the corner. Aside giving traders money, 10,000 naira, and that.
It was it didn't start in Oshun State.
It didn't start in Oshun State. I didn't say it started in Oshun State. I was just talking about the time. I was just talking about how smart and how people do it. So there's the brazen one whereby you vote.
It's been an amazing time, with you on the conversation. Thank you very much. I have been speaking with Stacey Akwe, National Publicity Secretary of the ANRP, and also been largely involved with Bring Back Our Girls as well here, because we'll be talking about a whole lot of things, and time is fast spent. The news comes in less than 10 minutes. Yes, 10, 11 minutes. Thank you very much for watching. See you same time next week. I'm Daniel Mwamoto.
by God. Oh, oh, oh.
Election is when we elect our leaders who represent us. And election is my right as a citizen of this country.
Election is a voting process. Election is a voting process, like vote a candidate for a leadership.
It's more like my right to choose the country's leader. My own part to play about it.
Say from layman point of view, is any activity that is aimed at putting people in a position of authority.
It's a platform, an avenue for people to elect those or get into offices, those that they want to represent them.
An election is simple now. It's just people choosing one or two people. The society choosing a number of people to represent, to lead, to coordinate, to do administration. All right.
And now you want my trust once more. Before you can say, what an election is, there has to be an electorate. Somebody has to, vote, you understand, in an election for people of authority to get into power.
The vote is the power of the electorate. All right, so the people brings their power to the table during an election. That's what it is.
I think it's more like us having a say of who goes there to represent us, of who we talk to, that will guide us aright, and give us the benefit of that. Oh, let me not use the word a past one. Or give us the benefit that what we need is what we're going to get.
Between the electorate and the election itself, the electorate are supposed to willingly vote according to their conscience, according to what they feel that the capabilities of whoever they want to elect into offices can do.
The electorate, they have the power to elect their leaders because this is a democratic setting, and you know what the meaning of democracy is? Democracy is government of the people, for the people, and by the people. So it is our right as the electorate to elect our leaders.
Only God can judge you now. Only God can judge you now.
Come on, you can't buy my right. It is my right as a citizen, and you can't buy it with money. No amount of money can buy it. So because by the time you sell your right to vote, you're selling your birthright. That's the way I see it.
I think that is laughable. I don't think you need to pay to get my vote, but rather you need to earn my vote. My vote is free. I mean, I don't have to collect anything from you to vote for you. If you tell me what you are going to do, and I am okay, and I believe that voting you, will mean realizing such aims and objectives, then I will cast my vote for you. I don't need to take money to vote for you.
That's a lot of money. My power is all I have got. All right, so if it's like I'm selling myself to you. If you pay me and I give you my power, my vote is my power. So it means you are ready to pay a whole lot of money. It's like I'm selling myself to you as a slave. You have total control over me. So that would be difficult to sell, actually. That would be very, very. In fact, it's difficult to explain. Well, but it's also simple to explain. If I give you my power, I have sold myself to you. So why should I do that? It's my vote during an election is my power, is everything I am.
It's not a matter of money, because it's about my generation now, trying to cause a change. There is no money whatsoever that, one has to pay to get the right leader. The money can finish, But when the money finishes, what happens? What's next? You know, that's what we're looking at.
You can only offer me your conscience and nothing else. The conscience that I have to believe that when you get in there, you represent me well. I don't believe in selling of votes, and I can't do that. So my vote only can appeal to your conscience, and that is exactly what it is. If I find out that you cannot represent me well based on your antecedents, I can't at all vote you in, no matter how much you're giving to me.
I don't need anybody's money to vote. If I want to vote, I'll vote for someone I choose to vote for. Not because of the money.
See, all I wanna say is that they don't really care about us.
That is the pain of the problem, the pain of the issue here. Collecting money and then selling your votes. You're selling a whole generation of yours. Very wrong. So people should vote according to their conscience. No matter how much they're giving you, let them go with their money. Vote according to your conscience. And when the person comes in, he will know definitely that he did not spend any money. He has come to do work for you. And he will definitely do the work. But when he buys your vote, what do you expect him to do? Definitely nothing. If I come to you and I buy votes from you, you don't expect me to do anything for you. So if they should have any expectation on the incoming administration, they should, from this very moment, begin to reorientate themselves, begin to understand that once they say their votes, they don't have any moral justification again to ask for the amenities that these people are supposed to come in to provide for them.
They should know that, I mean, when you sell your vote, you shouldn't hold your leaders accountable for anything. Because at the end of the day, when they buy you, you are electing the wrong leaders. And it will in turn rub off on what will benefit our citizens of this country. Because what we're suffering from in this country is as a result of politicians buying a right to vote them in. That is what we're suffering from. So it should be discouraged. It should be discouraged.
If you look at the lifestyle of people who sells their vote, they are in complete penury, living in squalor. They have no hope. Leadership that continues to give out money to buy people's vote in an election will continue to exploit the people. They would continue to refuse to do what they should do. They would continue to keep back developmental projects that is supposed to empower the people and continue to use them as piecemeals during election.
The common understanding is that once you sell your vote, it's like you said your future and you said the future of the unborn. Because one, if you sell your vote, the person who bought your vote from you bought it, with a price and his personal money. And he will have to do business to recoup his money. And by the time he's recouping his money, you will be the one to suffer.
Okay, you look at the children, you look at yourself. Are you really in the right place? Is the country in the right position? Can we compete with other countries out there? When you collect the money now and it finishes, what's happened next? So I think with that right frame of mind, people tend to think twice before they collect money, because at the end of the day, the money finishes, but the person is still there for the 4 years.
So you shouldn't allow politicians buy you over. That is what we are suffering from as citizens, because we elect the wrong people. So at the end of the day, they're not accountable to us. By the time they buy you, definitely they will recoup their money. So as a result, you will not enjoy any form of amenities. What they are supposed to do for us, of course they cannot do it for us, because they are like investors. You invest money, you want to recoup it. So you can't hold them responsible for anything.
Why you keep on deceiving the people, my brother, my sister?
When you get politicians that want to come into power by crook or by any means.
One thing is them having doubts, them not having the consciousness of producing results. When you won't produce results, you tend to pay for something. When they pay them off, they feel they can do anything there because you are being bought over, so you don't have authority anymore.
Of course, they are businessmen. That is what they are. Businessmen coming to sell, coming to buy. So when they come to you, tell them that you are not selling. They will definitely come. They don't have any other thing. They don't have nothing whatsoever to offer the country except that money that they have, with which they will come to buy your vote. And when they enter there, they don't do anything for you.
Why don't we work together so the future will be brighter?
Money politics is the worst type of politics you can experience or have anywhere in the world. So our challenge is actually coming to the place of realization, of understanding what you are, what you carry, and who you are. If we can get to that place easily, then all of this would not even come up.
People should begin to, realize that once these people are voted in on the basis of having body of vote, I'm telling you, they will not do anything for you.
As a nation, we should know that those who are buying votes in the first instance do not mean well for the country. And if it is possible, the whole country should revolt against them. Once you see anybody, soliciting to buy your vote, that should be enough reason to reject that person or that political party, as the case may be.
If you vote for money, at the end of the day, the person will be doing anyhow in the power, and you have the right to say anything.
The value of my vote is enormous. It's about the change I want in my country. It's about a whole lot of things, the generation at large. We're talking about what we want to see, the change we want to see in our country. Look at the Western country out there. We are not just closed. The education is down, everything is not working, so we need something to work in this country.
My voter's card has power because it is my right. It is my right, and nobody can buy it.
I dedicate this one to all of the shady politicians. We go promise and fail and they make the people live in harsh conditions. Yeah.
People of Nigeria, I say don't back Odin. From my side, the good as the banamo, because even human being, you no go to the drink Odin. I beg, you good, make a banner. We don't want them again.
A lot of Nigeria youth that have been taken into codeine have caused a lot of havoc to them, even to the society in general.
The recent ban of codeine is very amazing because that will help the Nigerian youths to face the reality and know what they're doing. Because of then, man, people are taking this codeine and they'll be very slow, they can't even help themselves out. But now that it's banned, I think they have no way to find any excuse, so they will come out, do the right thing at the right time and work for themselves.
I feel happy about the ban of codeine in Nigeria because it has caused so many harms to our youth out there. They over-abuse it. For those it may affect, they can go for other alternative of cough syrup. It's not only codeine that is in Nigeria that is cough syrup.
To some extent, it's okay. In the sense that the abuse is getting out of hand. You see people taking codeine as if they are drinking water, which is causing health hazards to most of us. That, I say, is not good. But think about it the other way around. I need codeine to cure me of one ailment or the other. And for me to go and get it now from the pharmacy becomes a problem because it's banned. So what do you do now? So before the government will come out to say this and that, I think it would be better for government to find out the root cause of why these guys or these little ones, not even guys this time, even women, even politicians, they do it, they take it. Find out why they are doing it, especially those guys outside. Then try to sort out that problem so that it will stop. If you say you ban it, the effect will be on almost everybody. But if you find out the root cause of why they are doing it, it will help us better.
I think the recent ban of codeine is one of the most positive things this government has done so far. And it's a very, very good thing because it will actually curtail drug abuse because if you look at Kano and Lagos State right now, they're among the highest abusers of drug, and Katsina State is a very good thing for the youth, and it will definitely grow the level of efficiency and self-sustenance in the country.
Welcome to yet another episode of Cuisine Africaine. Now, you know, on this show, we bring to your television all manner of lovely and tasty African dishes. Now, today we have with us a guest, another guest, who is going to be preparing something really nice and tasty. Please do sit back, stay tuned. After this short break, you'll meet our guest. You're welcome back. Now on the show today, we have a chef with us, and he's Chef Henry. He's going to be preparing something really nice for us. So good afternoon, Chef.
Good afternoon, Lillian.
So what do you have for us on the menu today?
Today we'll be making afang soup. Afang soup is an Efik soup. It's majorly eaten by the Efik people.
Okay.
We'll be using very local spices, local things to make up that soup.
Okay, no problem. Let's get to business.
Okay.
For our meal today, we're going to be using
First of all, you wash your hands. Hygiene is very important in cooking, so you don't have to eat germs. First of all, I will... This is your meat, beef. You wash and rinse thoroughly. After doing this, you turn it into a pot. Get some water. Okay, so we're going to start seasoning.
So what do we need for the seasoning, please?
Basically, okay, I'll be teaching you some little secret that I use in the kitchen. Okay. First of all, I'll go with the salt, just some salt to taste. This is cubed seasoning. Can I have some pepper here, some of that? So this, my fresh pepper, it was ground to this consistency. It's not so smooth. I like to see, you know, the seed in the food. You do this, could you pass me this, please? Okay, so this is my secret recipe, my secret spice. It's ginger and garlic. So you pound it to paste, the fine paste like this, and add it to your meat. Now, a lot of people get scared that it's garlic, it's going to taste in my food, but funny enough, it doesn't taste in your food, in the soup proper. It just helps your meat taste nice. So we're going to see that come to full effect after this is done. Okay, so here's my stockfish. While that is on the fire, here's my stockfish. You can barely do without this in making any Nigerian soup. This is what gives it life. I'd like to say life, because when you're eating stockfish, it tastes like heaven. So I'm going to add some water. It's like heaven. I'm going to add a little water. I will allow this simmer a little. While that is boiling, I will put in some onions. Could you have a knife? Thank you. Okay, so I'm washing the periwinkles. This is something that the Efik people do not joke with when making the afang soup. I think a lot of Efik people would rather have periwinkles than have meat. So we're going to put this in so they all boil together. The idea is that the spices will also go into this and make it taste nice too. So I'm going to just put some. Okay, so just as you're cooking, you wash off your plates, cutleries, and everything, so you don't have a messed up kitchen. For now, you seem to want to come and have a look for yourself.
It smells really nice already, and it's yet to start to simmer. So, okay.
It's okay. Okay, so this is our cow foot. You could also call it your cow leg. You give them in the market, they'll help you, you know, cut it into this shape. It's almost cooked, it's tender, but I'll need it to be a bit more tender so that you can chew it very easily. After this is done, we'll get to the part where we mix our edible potash with your palm oil, your ehuri. Ehuri is what we know in English as the calabash nutmeg. We'll infuse that, and our cube seasoning, salt, and then the queen of it all, uba. That's oil bean. So just sit back, relax, and enjoy this. So this is the meat steaming alongside the stockfish. Now I had to manually, I don't mean it literally though, I had to, you know, break the stockfish because it's big. So I have to, when you're cooking, you have to, you know, allow it to break a little, then you use your hand to break it so it cooks very fast. If not, it will cook halfway and all that, and you won't like the outcome. So after doing that, I will stir a little so the heat can touch up everywhere and it will cook faster. We're going to allow the water dry. If the water doesn't dry up, you won't have a very good afang soup. So the water has to dry up, and we'll incorporate the oil and other spices. So just relax, and in a few minutes you see what will become of this.
So, Chef Henry,
Yes, Linda?
while we're waiting for that to simmer,
Yeah.
can I ask you a little question?
Yeah, you can.
You know, like we young girls, we cook and then we have leftovers. So, what do you do with your leftover meal?
For leftovers, you could come up with new ideas,
Okay.
new recipes. Let's say we had rice,
Mhm.
white rice over the night for dinner, and you refrigerated over the night.
Okay.
In the morning, you could make a gravy. That's carrots, green peas, onions, ginger and garlic.
Okay, so basically, no leftover
You-
food can go to waste.
No leftover food can go to waste. Anything at all can be remade into something new.
That's really. You know, maybe one day we're going to do something on leftover foods.
It's okay, no problem.
All
I'm up to the task. I'm going all traditional. I would normally have to use a knife to check and all that, but I'm in Nigeria, and then Nigerians check their meat with their hands.
Yes.
So I can easily tell if it's cooked or not. It's almost cooked.
Sorry, how can you tell?
Okay, when you touch this, it's not as hard as it will be. You know, when it starts cooking together, it becomes a bit hard.
Okay.
And then it begins to absorb water, and the heat and everything begins to soften it. So there's a point to get to that it becomes tender enough when you touch.
Okay.
So it's almost getting tender. You can try. You can wash your hand and try.
It's quite hard. Okay, so it's almost there. Yeah,
Yeah. Okay, so still have to hold on.
like how many more minutes?
We'll allow this sit for 5 to 7 minutes more, so it cooks properly. Yeah. So I'm going to quickly just taste for salt and seasoning, if everything is properly incorporated. Shiyan, would you like to have a taste?
I hope it's not hot.
No, it's not hot. It's just okay.
That is ginger.
Has to be that a bit strong.
Yeah, but I feel it's going to come out really nice because
Nice.
of the ginger. I love ginger and garlic though,
Really?
but I've never tried it in a
That's why I said it's my secret recipe, and then you get to learn this today, right?
Definitely. So
Nice.
I'll try it when I
Okay.
get home. It's tender enough.
Yeah, it is. So we just wait for the water to dry
Why?
up. Because we're going to use water leaf. There's water leaf has water
Okay.
already, and the soup is not supposed to be watery.
Okay.
So could you pass me the crayfish? So I'm going to add some of the ground crayfish already. I'll still put in some later, but I want this to taste up quite quickly. It's okay, thank you. I need some pepper. And the one more.
Doesn't it have an English name?
Oh well, it does. Some people say it's hide. We could also pass for it's actually cow skin.
Okay.
Properly cooked and all that. It undergoes so many processes.
To get to this?
Yes, to get to this.
Okay.
If not, we won't be able to use it now. So I'm going to put this. I'm putting this now because it is soft.
Okay.
Yeah. Sometimes if you just get it straight from the abattoir, some people you have to cook it for a much longer time.
Okay.
But this is soft, so I can put it in now and it doesn't get smashed up. So our food is really rich in protein. All sorts of roundabouts, like we will say. So I'll allow this to still simmer. You won't just let this food be great, yeah?
The pepper gave it a really nice flavor. Should I say the ginger and the garlic?
You really like the ginger and the
yes,
garlic, yeah?
I've really never tried it before, but it gave it a different. I normally use it for just stew.
Yes, but like I said earlier, that you can use the ginger and garlic. It's a secret spice that you can use. Yes, I keep saying secret, yes. Let me bask in the euphoria. Okay, so you can use it in virtually anything or in seasoning your meat.
Okay.
It gives it a very, very beautiful flavor. The idea is that whether you're cooking soup or stews or whatever you're cooking, your meat absorbs it already, so it doesn't get into the soup.
Okay.
So you can use it for virtually any purpose, yes.
Okay.
For the purpose of boiling or seasoning your meat and everything.
So we'll wait for this to dry.
To dry up and then.
Next step. Alright.
Okay, right now the water is almost dried up. I'll put in the last protein for the soup. That's the dried fish. So it's going to go in. In no time at all, we're going to have to begin the process of cooking. I'm going to put in the oil. I must say that the afang soup requires a lot of oil. A lot of oil. It is said that in Efik soups, the palm oil is the water you use to cook the soup. So I'll do this. I won't turn, I'll just allow this to boil. I'm going to put in the vegetables. This is my already sliced water leaf. So I'm going to put it in gradually. Lillian, can you see this? You can't wait to have this, right?
You have absolutely no idea. As in,
can you see the periwinkles?
it's just. But can you use the ones they've removed?
Yes, yes. Okay. The shelled periwinkles, you can use them, yes.
Okay.
You can use them. So we'll allow this boil for 2 minutes, a minute, 2 minutes, and then we incorporate the afang leaves. It's pertinent to note that afang leaves, what we call afang leaves in the Efik dialect, is also known as ukazi leaf in the Igbo dialect of Nigeria. Ukazi leaf is mostly used by the Igbos for soups like egusi, ukazi soup, and some other little soups they make here and there just to join and complete it. While the Efik people use afang leaves as their major ingredient for the afang soup. The water leaf is just to help it come together, basically.
Are we ready for the afang leaf now?
Just a minute more. We'll let this boil up a little.
Okay.
I'm going to add a little more cubed seasoning just to bring up the taste a little. So do. Could you pass me the afang leaves?
Okay, so it's time for the afang leaves.
Yes, it's time for the afang leaves. Now the afang leaves are usually you pound it in a mortar. Pound it in mortar. That's how it's done traditionally. Some people like to grind in the market with the engine. You know the engine you use to grind your egusi, ogbono, and the rest. So you pound manually to enable it mix properly in the soup. If you put the leaves plain like that, it will just stand in the soup. So we're going to put it in now. After we have done this, you will notice that your soup the color of your soup will change. It will become a bit darker. You don't need to be afraid, no cause for alarm. That's how it's supposed to be. So I'm going to turn it a little and let it boil together. The afang, water leaf and everything. Would you like to have a taste?
Oh, definitely. Can we just go straight to the dining?
Okay, we'll have to allow the afang leaves to cook properly because it's a bit tough.
Okay.
So allow it sit in, absorb a lot of juice and heat so it cooks properly. Okay, so let's check this. To know if this soup is ready, I would have to check the leaves. So our soup is ready. So you can finally have a taste of Chef Henry's afang.
Okay. So the soup is ready. Now, before we go to the tasting, we're going to go on a really short break. When we get back, we'll have a taste of Chef Henry's afang. Stay tuned. This is lovely, as in.
Seriously, this is so good.
This is something you could actually try at home. It's amazing. It tastes, I can't explain. And I think I can feel that special taste of slight peppery and then the garlic and the ginger.
Yeah.
It's nice.
Spicing is just it. Seriously.
Okay. So that's it on Cuisine Africaine for this week. See you again same time next week. Thanks for watching. Bye. I have to get back to my food.
Alalala, my name is Femi Anikula Kokuti. This is just to tell you, beg you, plead with you, don't let anybody lure you into being violent. It's very important for us to have a peaceful elections. We need to think about the future of this country, of our children. We can be a great nation. And the first step is desist from being violent. Let's have a peaceful elections.
Vote buying is an offense under the Electoral Act 2010 as amended, and it falls under bribery, and the law frowns at it. It is bad for the electoral process. It is bad for our democracy. It is something that political parties shouldn't be engaging in. For us, it's an indication that our processes have been so strengthened that the political parties are now aware that it is very difficult, if not impossible, to rig elections. They have seen that it's a waste of time to snatch ballot boxes or to attack our staff at polling units or attempt to force some result they must have manufactured somewhere on us, because the processes are strengthened, they are strong, and they are foolproof. So I think what they now resort to for those who engage in it is to try and persuade voters on the election day by trying to give them some money as an incentive to sway their mind to vote for their own party. And it is not right. We are determined to tackle it. We already, the chairman of INEC has asked the Inspector General of Police for assistance, and that is being done. And we are also stepping up the process by asking political parties. During our meetings, we have been emphasizing on the need for them to respect provisions of the law so that this democracy that we are nurturing will succeed, and we have that commitment from them. Even when we are registering new political parties, we also try to emphasize this necessity to follow the due process and to follow the law. And of course, we're also stepping up the voter education element by appealing to Nigerians that it is not right for you to sell your vote, because when you sell your vote, you know you cannot ask questions over the next 4 years, and you cannot hold the politician accountable, because he can then easily tell you that he has paid for your vote and you cannot question him. And for us, it's even, you know, an insult for somebody to offer you 4,000 or 5,000 naira for you to vote for me. I mean, is that what you are really worth? Is that what your vote is worth? So these are the kind of things that we want to encourage Nigerians not to, you know, give in to this pressure by some politicians to make them commit what in any case is an offense. Vote buying has been with us for many, many years. It's not a new phenomenon. It's been there for a long time. It's just that now it's becoming probably stronger than what it used to be. Ballot box snatching is also an old phenomenon. It's not new. All of these things are grouped under electoral violence. And the purpose of everything is to either disrupt the election itself or to sway votes in favor of your political party, and that's why you engage in all these things. But these things are wrong, because what the law envisages is not just those who commit the offense, it's not just the taker and the giver. The law goes in as far as identifying those who have the knowledge, that is, those who encourage these things to happen, what some have described as a mother spider. So when you are arrested and you now give the names of those who provided the money, for instance, or those you held meetings with, is also an offense. The law takes that into cognizance, and you can be brought to book. And so we encourage Nigerians to please stop this aspect of vote buying and selling, because democracy is about choosing people out of free will. In other words, you are a political party, you have your manifesto, you go to campaign, people listen to you, people try to rationalize, looking at the programs that you have. People who are concerned about education, about health, about infrastructure, about security, about all these issues, they can interrogate your manifesto. You have the opportunity of providing answers when they interrogate you. And then based on that, over time, they are convinced that this is the right party to vote for. But when you offer money, it then means that the essence of democracy will be eroded. All that opportunity is wished away for those who collect the money, because, you know, it then becomes a short-term advantage, because you take that money and then you spend it, and then when it's finished, what else do you have? You then mortgage the future, your own future and the future of your children. Because, look, even if you live up to 60 years old or 100 years old, if they take 4 years, it's still something. And that's the cycle of the election that we have. If you have a president, you can't change him, you can't vote him out until the next 4 years. If you have a governor, you can't do that. If you have a member of the Senate or the Federal House of Reps or the State House of State Assembly, you can't vote them out. So that's the effect. So when we think about these things, and politicians know that we are not going to sell our votes, it will make them get very serious about governance. And that's the essence of it. It will promote and protect our democracy. My name is Rotimi Ekomi. I work with INEC. We have, since 2017, registered over 12 million Nigerians. We still have quite a number of uncollected PVCs. We have just about 500,000 collected. We have about 7 million uncollected. So we appeal to Nigerians to please collect their PVCs. We also want to appeal to Nigerians not to engage in vote buying and selling. Not good for our democracy at all. Please express your choice freely. Don't engage in violence, especially to our youth. Don't allow politicians to persuade you to engage in any form of violence. It's not good for this country. Democracy is about choice. You have the right to interrogate the manifestos presented by political parties. When they come, ask them questions. What do they have for you in education? What do they have? What programs do they have under health, infrastructure? All the things that you desire for the country to make this country better. And if they provide the answers and you are convinced, then you can, of course, make your choice. Right now, the choice is vast. We have just registered 23 new political parties. Now we have 91 political parties. So if they all present candidates, fine. But if they don't, those that present candidates, you also have the opportunity to make your choice freely. And I wish you all the best. I wish our country all the best. Thank you for listening.
Do you know that PTV remains the best place to showcase those lovely goods and services of yours? Yes, with our visibility in 36 states of Nigeria and over 50 countries of the world, we definitely have the tallest reach. What are you waiting for? Book your adverts now. Call us with the number displayed on your screen.
Hi, my name is Dr. Tracy O'Connor, and I'm from Roswell Park Cancer Institute in Buffalo, New York. Breast cancer is essentially a disorder of cell growth that can happen in either the ducts or the lobules of the breast. Essentially, cells in the breast begin to grow in an uncontrolled fashion, ultimately gaining the ability to spread throughout the body. It's important that women notice any changes in their breast because these cancers can be very readily treatable if they're picked up early. The major symptom of breast cancer is generally a painless lump in the breast, although some women do have pain when they notice a lump. There can also be changes in the skin, either puckering or dimpling, redness of the skin, and sometimes a nipple discharge. In this environment, often women will have deformity of the breast as the cancer progresses. Unfortunately, breast cancers can spread to other sites like the bone, liver, lung, and cause symptoms including pain. When a cancer spreads to other sites, when it's a very late stage cancer, what we call a stage 4 cancer, it's no longer able to be cured, although it can still be treated or tried to be managed. So it's just really important that women are diagnosed early with the first notice of a change in the breast, that they report that to their physician, because at that stage they are highly curable. All cancers are diseases of aging. So as we as human beings get better at managing other diseases that used to cause our mortality, our cancer incidence is increasing. In the US, it's been increasing pretty rapidly as human beings age. As we get older, we accumulate many more exposures to things that ultimately can cause cell changes and cause cancers to occur. The major cause of breast cancer, the major risk factor for breast cancer is aging. But there are other things that are important. A family history can increase a woman's risk of breast cancer. If she's overweight after menopause, that can increase her risk of breast cancer. Many of the changes that happen as women advance in society are associated with an increased breast cancer as we adopt a more Western style of life. Things like having fewer children, being younger at the time you get your first period, being older at the time that you go through menopause. So putting all of these together, a woman can help with her physician determine what her risk is. Ideally, women will begin having mammograms between the age of 40 and 45, and we generally recommend that they do this once a year. But another really good screening test, if mammography is not available or is not able to be afforded, is for a woman to check her breasts once a month and to report any changes promptly to her physician. In the United States, even in a high screening environment, 40% of breast cancers are diagnosed by women noticing a lump in their own breast. It is not contagious. So breast cancer cannot be transmitted from one person to another. Some cancers do have the ability to be started by a virus. We've been talking a lot on this trip about the human papillomavirus, or HPV. This is a virus that's associated with both head and neck cancer and cervical cancer. And the reason we've been talking about it is that it is preventable with a vaccine if individuals are vaccinated before they become sexually active. So that's a very important public health measure that could be advocated for in this country. So if we catch it early, women are cured and they can live out a normal lifespan. So in the United States, 90% approximately of women who present with a breast cancer can go on to live a normal lifespan. So that's why it's so important to catch it early. I usually would recommend that people start with their primary care physician until a woman is actually diagnosed with a cancer. She does not need to see an oncologist. So following up with her primary care physician or obstetrician gynecologist would probably be a good option. So it feels to me from talking to women in Nigeria, there's a great deal of fear and stigma surrounding a cancer diagnosis. And I would encourage women to take control of the situation, to recognize that breast cancer is highly curable if it's caught early and treated by the right professionals, to check their breasts regularly and really to pursue cancer screening with mammograms once a year so that they can be diagnosed early, be treated, and go on to live a long and fruitful life. I think that the knowledge in Nigeria is actually very good. There's a lot of breast cancer here, and physicians certainly know how to treat it. The major barriers are the fact that many women have difficulty affording care. Sometimes care is unavailable, such as radiotherapy or access to chemotherapy agents. And there's a great deal of delayed presentation. So rather than presenting with a very early, very curable breast cancer in Nigeria, many women delay seeking treatment, either because they can't afford it or they're frightened. And when you delay treatment, that's when your outcome is not as good. So it's not as if the physicians here lack any skills or knowledge. It's that the system is working against them while they're trying to take care of their patients. It seems like the general level of knowledge and awareness is quite low in Nigeria among the population. So I think education is really key to get the word out that there is screening available for cancer, that it is not a death sentence, that with proper treatment and early diagnosis, this is a curable problem for people, and to support cancer patients rather than stigmatize the disease. People who are diagnosed with cancer need compassion and support to get through their treatment. This is not a contagious problem, and these patients deserve our care and support. I try to be very encouraging with my patients. We often talk about ourselves in oncology as being big cheerleaders. We're really there to support them, help them get through treatment, work with them psychologically, to get the right mindset to get through therapy. But in general, the patients that I care for with cancer are a lovely group of women who deserve the very best care. And the women in this country deserve the same level of care that we're able to give in the States. I would like to see better infrastructure and better support, some sort of public insurance program for the people of Nigeria, especially in regards to cancer care. My name is Dr. Tracy O'Connor. I'm a breast cancer doctor from Roswell Park Cancer Institute in Buffalo, New York, and I'm here to encourage you to get your health information from People's Television.
You're watching People's Television, your people's preferred station, powered by you.
Oh my God. Oh, oh, oh.
Election is when we elect our leaders who represent us. And election is my right as a citizen of this country.
Election is a voting process. Election is a voting process, like vote a candidate for a leadership.
It's more like my right to choose the country's leader. My own part to play about it.
Say from layman point of view, is any activity that is aimed at putting people in a position of authority.
It's a platform, an avenue for people to elect those or get into offices, those that they want to represent them.
An election is simple now. It's just people choosing one or two people. The society choosing a number of people to represent, to lead, to coordinate, to do administration. All right.
And now you want my trust once more. No.
Before you can say, what an election is, there has to be an electorate. Somebody has to, vote, you understand, in an election for people of authority to get into power.
The vote is the power of the electorate. All right, so the people brings their power to the table during an election. That's what it is.
I think it's more like us having a say of who goes there to represent us, of who we talk to, that will guide us aright, and give us the benefit of that. Oh, let me not use the word a past one. Or give us the benefit that what we need is what we're going to get.
Between the electorate and the election itself, the electorate are supposed to willingly vote according to their conscience, according to what they feel that the capabilities of whoever they want to elect into offices can do.
The electorate, they have the power to elect their leaders because this is a democratic setting. And you know what the meaning of democracy is? Democracy is government of the people, for the people, and by the people. So it is our right as the electorate to elect our leaders.
Only God can judge you now. Only God can judge you now.
Come on, you can't buy my right. It is my right as a citizen, and you can't buy it with money. No amount of money can buy it. So because by the time you sell your right to vote, you're selling your birthright. That's the way I see it.
I think that is laughable. I don't think you need to pay to get my vote, but rather you need to earn my vote. My vote is free. I mean, I don't have to collect anything from you to vote for you. If you tell me what you are going to do, and I am okay, and I believe that voting you, will mean realizing such aims and objectives, then I will cast my vote for you. I don't need to take money to vote for you.
That's a lot of money. My power is all I have got. All right. So if it's like I'm selling myself to you. If you pay me and I give you my power, my vote is my power. So it means you are ready to pay a whole lot of money. It's like I'm selling myself to you as a slave. You have total control over me. So that would be difficult to sell, actually. That would be very, very. In fact, it's difficult to explain. Well, but it's also simple to explain. If I give you my power, I have sold myself to you. So why should I do that? It's my vote during an election is my power, is everything I am.
A matter of money, because it's about my generation now, trying to cause a change. There is no money whatsoever that, one has to pay to get the right leader. The money can finish, but when the money finishes, what happens? What's next? That's what we're looking at.
You can only offer me your conscience and nothing else. The conscience that I have to believe that when you get in there, you represent me well. I don't believe in selling of votes, and I can't do that. So my vote only can appeal to your conscience, and that is exactly what it is. If I find out that you cannot represent me well based on your antecedents, I can't at all vote you in, no matter how much you're giving to me.
I don't need anybody's money to vote. If I want to vote, I'll vote for someone I choose to vote for. Not because of the money.
See, all I wanna say is that they don't really care about us.
That is the bane of the problem, the bane of the issue here. Collecting money and then selling your votes. You're selling a whole generation of yours. Very wrong. So people should vote according to their conscience. No matter how much they're giving you, let them go with their money. Vote according to your conscience. And when the person comes in, he will know definitely that he did not spend any money. He has come to do work for you. And he will definitely do the work. But when he buys your vote, what do you expect him to do? Definitely nothing. If I come to you and I buy votes from you, you don't expect me to do anything for you. So if they should have any expectation on the incoming administration, they should, from this very moment, begin to reorientate themselves, begin to understand that once they say their votes, they don't have any moral justification again to ask for the amenities that these people are supposed to come in to provide for them.
They should know that, when you sell your vote, you shouldn't hold your leaders accountable for anything. Because at the end of the day, when they buy you, you are electing the wrong leaders. And it will in turn rub off on what will benefit our citizens of this country. Because what we're suffering from in this country is as a result of politicians buying our right to vote them in. That is what we're suffering from. So I don't, it should be discouraged. It should be discouraged.
If you look at the lifestyle of people who sells their vote, they are in complete penury, living in squalor. They have no hope. Leadership that continues to gives out money to buy people's vote in an election will continue to exploit the people. They would continue to refuse to do what they should do. They would continue to keep back developmental projects that is supposed to empower the people and continue to use them as piecemeals during election.
The common understanding is that once you sell your vote, it's like you said your future and you said the future of the unborn. Because one, if you sell your vote, the person who bought your vote from you bought it, with a price and his personal money. And he will have to do business to recoup his money. And by the time he's recouping his money, you will be the one to suffer.
Okay, you look at the children, you look at yourself. Are you really in the right place? Is the country in the right position? Can we compete with other countries out there? When you collect the money now and you finish it, what's happened next? So I think with that right frame of mind, people tend to think twice before they collect money, because at the end of the day, the money finishes, but the person is still there for the 4 years.
So you shouldn't allow politicians buy you over. That is what we are suffering from as citizens, because we elect the wrong people. So at the end of the day, they're not accountable to us. By the time they buy you, definitely they will recoup their money. So as a result, you will not enjoy any form of amenities. What they are supposed to do for us, of course they cannot do it for us, because they are like investors. You invest money, you want to recoup it. So you can't hold them responsible for anything.
Why you keep on deceiving the people, my brother, my sister?
When you get politicians that want to come into power by crook or by any means,
one thing is them having doubts, them not having the consciousness of producing results. When you won't produce results, you tend to pay for something. When they pay them off, they feel they can do anything there because you are being bought over, so you don't have authority anymore.
Of course, they are businessmen. That is what they are. Businessmen coming to sell, coming to buy. So when they come to you, tell them that you are not selling. They will definitely come. They don't have any other thing. They don't have nothing whatsoever to offer the country except that money that they have, with which they will come to buy your vote. And when they enter there, they don't do anything for you.
Why don't we work together so the future will be brighter?
Money politics is the worst type of politics you can experience or have anywhere in the world. So our challenge is actually coming to the place of realization, of understanding what you are, what you carry, and who you are. If we can get to that place easily, then all of this would not even come up.
People should begin to, realize that once these people are voted in on the basis of having body of vote, I'm telling you, they will not do anything for you.
As a nation, we should know that those who are buying votes, in the first instance, do not mean well for the country. And if it is possible, the whole country should revolt against them. Once you see anybody, soliciting to buy your vote, that should be enough reason to reject that person or that political party, as the case may be.
If you vote for money, at the end of the day, the person will be doing anyhow in the power, and you have the right to say anything.
The value of my vote is enormous. It's about the change I want in my country. It's about a whole lot of things, the generation at large. We're talking about what we want to see, the change we want to see in our country. Look at the Western country out there. We are not just closed. The education is down, everything is not working, so we need something to work in this country.
My voter's card has power because it is my right. It is my right, and nobody can buy it.
I dedicate this one to all of the shady politicians. Wake up, promise and fail, and they make the people live in harsh conditions. Yeah.
For innovative research-based analysis, fresh news and programs, join us on PTV, the People's Oriented Station, transmitting on StarTimes Channel 120, showing across 36 states in Nigeria, and Channel 77 on Strong Decoder across 52 countries. Yes, you asked for it. Now you have the best of television. You can also follow us on our social media platforms showing on your screen. People's Television, powered by you.
Soldiers helping Nigerian forces fight Boko Haram.
We will have to persuade Nigerian legislators.
This is coming together of people who are engaged.
Executive order should comply with the law. I personally dissociate myself completely. Personally.
From this interview, because you have
said there had hardly been any administration.
No religious body in Nigeria validate the claims by the INEC chairman. It is.
Elections should not be a do-or-die affair. There's no basis for violence in an election.
If any politician asks them to go and do violence because they want to pay them, let them ask them, any politician, to go and bring his son or daughter to lead the violence.
I want to employ the young people in forthcoming election not to fight. They should be orderly. At the same time, they must be vigilant.
I support the campaign of vote and not fight. Let us vote peacefully and shun any form of conflict.
Truth and I, they're straightforward. My name is Innocent Dibia. They call me Two-Face before, but now they call me Two-Baba. Yeah, we're here in Osun State for the Vote Not Fight campaign. And we're here to just let the youth know that, let them not be used, let them, go out there, get their PVCs, and then, go and vote for the candidate of their choice. And do it peacefully, and so vote, not fight. Election, not be war. All right, let's go there.
News 24 Extra is taking it up a notch. You can now have news curated to your interest anywhere in the world with real-time notifications. Just go to Google Play Store if you're on Android or Apple Store on iOS. Search News 24 Extra. Download. It's free. It's easy. Now you can catch up with the latest news in politics, entertainment, lifestyle, sports, and much more. So stay connected with News 24 Extra. News at your fingertips.
People's Television Nigeria has gone mobile. You can now watch PTV Nigeria on the go anywhere in the world. For real-time notifications, just go to Google Play Store if you're on Android or Apple Store if you're on iOS. Search for PTV Nigeria. Download. It's free. It's easy. And now you can catch up with the latest news, analysis, and political discourse on the go. So stay connected with PTV, Nigeria's #1 online TV.
Hello there and welcome to Kissing Africana. I'm your host Lilian Ogazi. Now today I have an amazing chef and a very short, interesting meal. This week again.
Yeah, this week again we have something super amazing.
Okay, last week was amazing and then this week it is super amazing. So what are we preparing this week that is super amazing?
What we have to make today is called Ikira Nyicho. Now, Icho is the name for what I am.
Okay.
Then Ikira is the Ikira made from Icho. So
what is Ikira first? This is Ikira made from Icho.
The name given to
sounds like Akara.
Yes, but I don't want to use the word Akara because in my language we call it Ikira.
So Ikira Nyicho?
Yes, that's to cakes made from what I am.
People's Television Nigeria has gone mobile. You can now watch PTV Nigeria on the go anywhere in the world with real-time notifications. Just go to Google Play Store if you're on Android or Apple Store if you're on iOS. Search PTV Nigeria, download, it's free, it's easy. Now you can catch up with the latest news analysis and political discourse on the go. So stay connected with PTV, Nigeria's #1 online TV.
As usual, I am excited today. Like AY has done a whole lot for people. I'm not just his baby mama, I am his manager. And we all know that Wizkid had he had numbers of baby mamas. And
he said you don't need some leaders of the National Assembly. The worst form of democracy is said to be better than the best form of military regime.
We are trying to build political blocks.
Just days after he defected from your party, I believe the politics taken too far.
Members of the new board of Police Service Commission.
You know, that's also the fact that his seat should be declared vacant because
we have some states that have experienced, you know, some level of insecurity.
The headship or the leadership of the Senate or the House of Representatives.
But I have gone beyond that now, beyond partisanship.
I don't think a lot of you know the crisis in the embassy.
We know that the people of the country are getting more information about what is happening to us.
With what you know about the person, you will go ask yourself.
But one of the things I've come to observe is that
I'm the Agberu. That made me like this Agberu.
He don't need PVC. He don't need PVC. I was trying to convince him.
News emerged that Jones Abiri, a Bayelsa-based journalist, is out on loan.
And there's nothing, of course, that makes them to have this guy.
As a citizen, first of all, every citizen has the right. What is happening in society, what is happening everywhere around him.
From that day, Saraki knew that he was a madman in the APC.
He should ask these people who leaked the information. That is his business.
This is not the first time JSS was taking over the National Assembly.
It may be extremely very difficult to remove a Senate president.
But the question is the viability of most of these 91 political parties.
Of course, you can't prosecute without investigation.
It will be easier for you to have those people with the like minds to join you.
To, da kai da ke da ita da shi da kowa nake so na yi magana da. Me ke faruwa? Kana son karuwa ga ka zaune bakin rijiya amma kana jin kishin ruwa? Gangan jikin siyasa. In ta dangwala ka dangwala na dangwala. Ina amfanin ana yi ba da kai ba? A turancin Najeriya to an gaya maka. No sit down look. Kana sit down kana looking komai na ƙara lalacewa? ina ka ga daman ƙorafi da masu jini a jika ake yi, watan matasa. Kwankwasa a buɗa ki shige, ɗago ka shaƙi iska ko ka lime, da ƙyar ka sha yafi da ƙyar aka kama ka. No sit down look. Matasa ke siyasa. Yin rajista, karɓi katin zaɓe yana da amfani ƙwarai kwa.
No sit down look.
No sit down look.
No sit down look.
Make una no sit down look oh.
A popular saying in Nigeria goes that at the time a cockerel matures, it begins to crow to tell the world the time of day. This makes a crucial premise for all of us who have come of age, the youths, to lend our voices to a nation set to flip a new page, like the chance to vote and be voted for, whether being a youth, a woman, or a person with disability, and to do this in unity. And to anyone who hasn't been confident enough to exercise these rights, I beg, step out of the dark and come into the light. I mean, your participating in the electoral process is significant, a moment to behold, like that cock crowing in the morning to tell about a difference. No sit down look. Do something that will count today and be in tomorrow's books. The elections are coming. Register for and get your voter's card, your power card. As a citizen, and especially as a young lady or lad, lend your voice, use your voice, talk, say, and tell the world the time of day.
People of Nigeria, I hear say don't back Odin. For my side, the good though as the banner, because even human being, you no go to the drink Odin. Oh, I beg, he good, make a banner. We don't want them again.
A lot of Nigeria youth that have been taken into codeine have caused a lot of havoc to them, even to the society in general.
The recent ban of codeine is very amazing because that will help the Nigerian youths to face the reality and know what they're doing. Because of then, man, people are taking this codeine and they'll be very slow, they can't even help themselves out. But now that it's banned, I think they have no way to find any excuse. So they will come out, do the right thing at the right time and work for themselves.
I feel happy about the ban of codeine in Nigeria because it has caused so many harms to our youth out there. They over-abuse it. For those it may affect, they can go for other alternative of cough syrup. It's not only codeine that is in Nigeria that is cough syrup.
To some extent, it's okay. In the sense that the abuse is getting out of hand. You see people taking codeine as if they are drinking water, which is causing health hazards to most of us. That, I say, is not good. But think about it the other way around. I need codeine to cure me of one ailment or the other. And for me to go and get it now from the pharmacy becomes a problem because it's banned. So what do you do now? So before the government will come out to say this and that, I think it should be better for government to find out the root cause of why these guys or these little ones, not even guys this time, even women, even politicians, they do it, they take it. Find out why they are doing it, especially those guys outside. Then try to sort out that problem so that it will stop. If you say you ban it, the effect will be on almost everybody. But if you find out the root cause of why they are doing it, it will help us better.
I think the recent ban of codeine is one of the most positive things this government has done so far. And it's a very, very good thing because it will actually curtail drug abuse. Because if you look at Kano and Lagos State right now, they're among the highest abusers of drug, and Katsina State is a very good thing for the youth, and it will definitely grow the level of efficiency and self-sustenance in the country.
I can tell you of a place, lovely as a pretty face, rustling leaves and bowing trees underneath the evening breeze.
With a population of about 15 million people, Gbagi Gbari is the name of the language of this ethnic group predominantly found in central Nigeria. The Gbagi language is part of the Kwa subdivision of the Niger-Congo language family. Gbagi is the most populated ethnic and indigenous group in the Federal Capital Territory of Nigeria. They are also found in Niger, Kaduna, Nasarawa, and Kogi states in central Nigeria area. The word Gbagi, which the Gbagi people are famously called, is the name of a particular yam in Gbagi. Principally, there are three types of Gbagi: Gbagi Niger, Gbari Genge, and Gbari Yama. The Gbari people are predominantly farmers, but they're also hunters, while some are involved making traditional arts and craft products such as pottery and woodwork like mortar and pestle.
Making kites from paper bags, flying high above the clouds, dancing in the village square, lovers meet from far and near.
Historically, the Gbagi practice a patrilineal kinship system. The lowest tier of authority is found in the extended family compound led by the oldest male. The compounds consist of small huts and rectangular buildings. The Osu King is the highest tier of authority in the Gbagi settlement and is assisted by a group of elders. They are known to be noble, transparent, peace-loving, accommodating and warm. Their hospitable and cordial nature earned them the phrase Muyishi Gwari Gwari, which means let's do it like the Gbagis. The Gbagi people have emerged as a unique breed among Nigerians. Their culture shows how much they have come to terms with the universe. The favorite food of the Gbagis is known as the yize, made from the guinea corn, to form yiwo, a special drink which is used to drink the nalodo, a spicy soup made with locust beans, and their famous dress is called ajisida, made from local cotton and traditionally woven and dyed by their skillful dressmakers. Some of their popular festivals is the Agbamaya Festival and the Yibaji. The Agbamaya Festival is a celebration performed to welcome the rain during the raining season, while the Yibaji is a traditional Christmas celebration.
Where the owl is never safe and crickets cry to end the day.
The Gbagi people are adherents of Islam, Christianity, and traditional African religion. In the traditional African religions, the Gbagi believe in a god called Shikwe, one who was there before their ancestors, but they also devote themselves to appeasing deities of the god such as the Megiru. Many Gbagi believe in reincarnation. Islam became more prominent among the people after the Fulani Jihad, while Christianity was introduced to the people by the Sudan Interior Mission, also known locally as the Evangelical Church of West Africa, and the Baptist missionaries from the western part of Nigeria. Prominent individuals from Gbagi descent include former military rulers Ibrahim Babangida and Abdulsalami Abubakar, and Nigerian multi-instrumentalist, singer-songwriter and composer B.E.Z. Bez, whose song you hear on the background.
I can tell you of a place, lovely as a pretty face, rustling leaves and bowing trees underneath the evening breeze.
Ni ne mai suna Tukur Sani daga Kajuru local government Kufana. Gaskiya mu a garin nan Kufana community duka muka taro muka zauna muka yi meeting game da matsalan hanyar nan. Wannan rafin nan mun kai kuka a wajen hakimi, da shi hakimi ya ce to wannan matakin nan shi zai rubuta ya kai ma local government. Daga wurin kuma sai member na skip, wani kungiya ne na zaman kanta, shi ma wani member ya zo ya shigo da wannan budget na wannan gadan nan tun da dadewa, amma har yanzu ba mu samu cin gaba game da wannan hanyar ba. Har ila yau muna kan rubuta letoti, mun ma rubuta leta waɗanda sun ma fi so 10. This is how we in Kufana Kajuru local government, Kaduna State, no sit down, look.
Dub, 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 dub. Yes.
My name is Jane, and I am 18, and this is where I hang out with my friends. We are deeply concerned about the problems facing Nigeria, but when it comes to doing something about it, we would rather sit on the fence.
Hold up. Dub, 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 dub. Dub, 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 dub. Yes. Dub, 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 dub. Dub, 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 dub. Yes. Dub, 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 dub. Yes.
One day as I did dab, they go. Now I see my neighbor on top electric pole. Don't be hammer you hold so. Before. So? Climb every day. Come on electric bill. You not gree pay. Waiting concern you for there. I beg you. Come over here. Okay, oh. I don't talk my own. As I dab reach house. Yay! Fire! Fire! My brand new flat screen.
Hold up.
Waiting concern you for there. I beg you, come over here. Government property, now my property. If you don't come down now, I go report. Don't be only report. Now report card.
Dub, 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 dub. Dub, 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 dub. Yes.
Sunana Yakubu, amma an fi sani na da Yaks. Abu mafi mahimmanci shine har yanzu muna zaune da kwayar cutar polio a kasar mu. Wasu sun san digon rigakafin polio, wato digo biyu da ake bada na baki. Wasu kuma ba su san da haka ba. Wasu suna tunanin wannan digo guda biyu sau ɗaya kawai ya wadatar. Shin digo biyu ya wadatar? Bari mu bincika. Yaya aiki?
Lafiya kalau.
Digon mai guda biyu kawai zai isa soya kosai?
Ba zai isa ba.
To, ta ce ba zai isa ba. Ina zuwa. Na gode. Shin za ki amfani da digon nono guda biyu kawai ki dama fura?
A'a ba zai yiwu ba gaskiya. Saboda nonon ne yake taimakawa wurin dama furan.
Na gode. Tambaya nake shin digon ruwa biyu kawai zai isa haɗa shayi?
Ai ba zai yiwu a haɗa ruwa da shayi da digon ruwa biyu ba. Dalili kuwa ai ba zai isa mutum ba. Dole sai ya kai kaman kofi ɗaya.
Barka da.
Barka gare.
Da Allah tambaya nake so yi.
Allah sa na sani.
Shin digon man fetur guda biyu digon man fetur guda biyu zai isa ya sa wannan mashin aiki?
A'a ba zai sa shi aiki ba gaskiya.
Dalili ba?
Saboda ai bai wadace shi ba.
Haba.
Kwarai da gaske.
To nan ina zaka?
Dan je nan bayani.
Da Allah bari bi ka. Allah bai na wani.
Lafiya Allah.
Kwayan gishiri biyu kadai. Shin zai isa ya sa naman nan daɗi?
A gaskiya ba zai isa ya sa naman nan daɗi. Sai an